Hour with me, Noragay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robian Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the Holiness Administration is heading to COP30 to press for more international assistance following Hurricane Melissa.
As we look at the recent impact of Melissa, we will have to unlock multilateral and bilateral support as we seek to rebuild.
45 Jamaicans now confirmed dead and 15 others are missing 2 weeks after the massive hurricane.
The government is pressing principals to be lenient with uniform rules for students affected by the hurricane.
They lost their house. Their house may have leaked terribly, even if it's in Kingston. And we have to be sensitive to that.
Sections of hard-hit Westmoreland to have electricity restored in 2 weeks.
The NSWMA is appealing for patience as garbage piles up in some communities.
In news from the rest of the world, full blackout hits the Dominican Republic as crews scramble to restore power.
U.S. aircraft carrier group arrives in the region as Trump ramps up his war on drugs.
In headline sports, Jamaican fast bowler gets maiden test call for West Indies tour to New Zealand.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, 2 weeks after the catastrophic Category 5 Hurricane Melissa hit Jamaica, the government continues to carry out relief efforts. We'll get an update from the local government minister Desmond McKenzie.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, are you satisfied with the pace of restoration by JPS? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90 FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the health minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says a field hospital will be established on the grounds of the Savannah Lamar Hospital in Westmoreland.
Similarly, it will carry the features that these other two carry and will offer critical support to the people of Westmoreland and even beyond Westmoreland with a full team.
We'll bring you more from today's sitting of the House of Representatives.
At 8, it's Prescription for Life with Dr. Andre McDonald.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, RevoNews.ai, and on the Revo News app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Tuesday afternoon, it's Tuesday, November 11, 2025.
The Hour is brought to you by the new Doritos Zinger from KFC. The delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy Zinger and Doritos. Also available in Barbecue Zinger, limited time only. KFC Doritos Zinger, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The Holiness Administration is headed to the COP30 Climate Change Summit in Brazil to seek additional international assistance following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. The Climate Change Minister, Matthew Samuda, departs the island on Saturday for the summit.
I expect to have several meetings with key funding agencies, including the Climate Investment Fund, the GCF, indeed the IDB and the World Bank. As we look at the recent impact of Melissa, we will have to unlock multilateral and bilateral support as we seek to rebuild. Now, obviously, the issue of climate change is front and center as we contemplate COP30, and we are hoping for a strong agreement. As President Lula had said, this is what we're hoping will be the honest COP, meaning we're asking people not to come up with ambitious commitments that never get fulfilled, but rather to come to the COP and explain how they will honor commitments already made, commitments that already would lead us toward sticking within 1.5 degree warming.
COP30 is the 30th United Nations Conference of Parties. It's a global climate conference organized by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It brings together the nearly 200 nations who are part of the agreement. Several climate experts have said Hurricane Melissa has renewed the urgency of financing for small island developing states who are often worst affected by natural disasters. Minister Samuda says the impact global warming has on small states has been hammered home by the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa.
We've seen the impact of a warmer sea. Climate attribution studies have already said that the warmer sea contributed significantly to Hurricane Melissa's strength, as well as to the fact that you had the hurricane at this time of the year. Because even though it is within the season, it is much less likely usually at the tail end of October and November. So for us, this is a particularly important COP to make our positions well known, as well as to meet with partners related to our recovery efforts.
Matthew Samuda, the climate change minister. He was speaking with Nationwide News today.
45 Jamaicans have been confirmed dead and 14 others are missing 2 weeks after Hurricane Melissa battered western Jamaica. The grim count was disclosed by Information Minister Dr. Dana Morris Dixon. The Information Minister says deaths have been confirmed in 7 parishes.
Hanover, 2. Westmoreland, 15. St. James, 6. Trelawney, 2. St. Anne, 1. Portland, 1. St. Elizabeth, 18. So that's a total confirmed of 45. In terms of postmortems, they have been able to conduct 33 postmortems to date, and there are some that they are waiting to do the postmortems on.
Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, she is the Information Minister. Meanwhile, Director General of ODPEM, Commander Alvin Gale, says work is underway to confirm the reports of missing persons.
15 persons have been reported missing. The JCF continues their process of verification through a series of welfare checks. More than 130 buildings have sustained some level of damage, ranging from partial roof loss to complete collapse, while some 30,000 households have been displaced.
Commander Alvin Gale, Director General at ODPEM.
Meanwhile, Commander Gale says expected rainfall could hamper relief efforts across the affected parishes.
The current weather forecast is for periods of showers and isolated thunderstorms to affect primarily sections of northern parishes beginning this afternoon and continuing to Thursday morning. Isolated showers and thunderstorms are likely across southwestern parishes during this time. Additionally, gusty winds expected across northern parishes on Tuesday, here being that while significant rainfall is not expected, ongoing relief operations, particularly in the northern parishes, could be hampered. Weather conditions are forecasted to improve significantly through the course of Friday, with fair to partly conditions expected.
That's Commander Alvin Gale, the Director General at ODPEM.
The government is calling on school administrators to show leniency in enforcing uniform rules against students impacted by Hurricane Melissa. The matter was raised on Tuesday following reports that some students were being locked out of school for wearing incorrect or incomplete uniforms. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris Dixon called on principals to be sensitive to the plight of affected students.
We have to be lenient with our children. They have been through a lot, and many of them, they lost their house may have leaked terribly, even if it's in Kingston, and we have to be sensitive to that. We need them to get back to their education. That's what is necessary. I looked over to my permanent secretary and she says she has seen no official reports of it. If you know of someone who was sent home because they don't have uniforms, please let me know so that we can treat with it in the ministry.
Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Education Minister, she was speaking at a media briefing on Tuesday.
To utilities now, sections of Westmoreland and Hanover are expected to have electricity restored in the next 2 weeks. That's according to President and CEO of the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, Hugh Grant.
Within the next 2 weeks, power will be in Hanover and Westmoreland. I heard Minister Mackenzie refer to what he's seen in Falmouth and Trelawney. Minister Mackenzie, this week, power will be in Trelawney. We will have power in Falmouth Town, Falmouth Hospital, and also the pier, whereby we're supporting the return of cruise ships to that particular pier.
Up to November 11, the JPS says it has restored power to over 64% of its customers island-wide. That's more than 300,000 customers. But the JPS boss says restoration efforts are being hampered in St. Elizabeth.
We are already in the parish of St. Elizabeth, having restored Junction and Southfield and some nearby communities. We did this by doing some creative things on the distribution system to facilitate St. Elizabeth being supplied from Manchester. There is, however, a limitation to that, as we have built out in St. Elizabeth to a stage now whereby to go further, we would need the critical high voltage transmission to be restored. That has been significantly damaged. However, we continue to work that.
Hugh Grant, the president and CEO of JPS, he was speaking at a media briefing at Jamaica House today.
Meanwhile, Mr. Grant says an additional 200 line workers from overseas have joined the Light and Power Company in its restoration efforts.
You may have recalled that I shared that prior to the hurricane, we brought in 71 overseas line workers. I'm pleased to share that since the passage of the hurricane, we have brought in additionally more than 200 line workers to help with the safe and timely restoration. In addition to that, we have also bringing in additional vehicles, bucket trucks, pole digging trucks that are expected to be here by this weekend. This will also be a key resource to help in expediting our restoration activities safely and timely.
Hugh Grant, President and CEO of JPS.
And Kingston's Mayor Andrew Swaby says more than 6,000 residents across the municipality remain without electricity.
Councillors, I am advised by the Jamaica Public Service that as of Monday, November 10th, that is yesterday, approximately 6,160 customers in Kills and St. Andrew remain without electricity. The majority of whom are in St. Andrew.
Mayor Swaby says restoration efforts are being hampered due to limited access to some communities.
JPS has reported that the major issues is access to parts of rural St. Andrew, but restoration efforts are ongoing and teams are working steadily towards full service.
Andrew Swaby, the mayor of Kingston, he was speaking at a sitting of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation today.
Water has been restored to more than 70% of National Water Commission NWC customers. Information Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon made the disclosure at a press briefing at the office of the Prime Minister in Kingston on Tuesday.
Minister Samuda is not able to come to give the water update, but what I will note is that 72.6% of customers have had their water restored. They are working really, really hard. I know Minister Samuda this morning was looking at how quickly he could get Great River up, and the NWC has advised me that they are expecting to get Great River up by this evening, which is a great, great thing because we know that that facility is important to getting water into St. James and Hanover.
The NWC has committed to repairing major pipelines to restore water in communities across western parishes. It noted that repairs were being carried out in phases due to limited road access and lack of electricity. Minister Morris-Dixon says more customers will see restoration of water in short order.
In addition to that, Minard is the other big one that they're working to get up. And once we get that, those two are up, we're at 85% of the population having water, which is a really, really big milestone. And I have to congratulate NWC and Minister Samuda on that.
Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, Minister of Information.
The Health Ministry says an ongoing assessment of what's needed to restore the country's health services is now 40% complete. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the assessment is being done in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization and UNICEF.
Mr. Speaker, the Ministry's collaboration with our partners at the Pan American Health Organization and UNICEF, and supported by the National Health Fund, have begun our national assessment, and we have completed some 40% of that program. At the end of the assessment program, we'll be able to provide better estimates on the program of work that will require for the next phase, which is our rehabilitation phase. So that program is ongoing. However, we do have a sense of what we need to restore services, but more will be needed over the course of the other two phases to build back stronger, more resilient, and to ensure that the services are maintained and consistently so.
Dr. Tufton was providing an update on the status of Jamaica's health sector following the catastrophic damage caused by the passage of Hurricane Melissa. According to the minister, the North, South, and Western regional health authorities were all significantly impacted. Dr. Tufton also outlined the series of steps the ministry will be taking to restore full operations at various health facilities.
As part of our overall strategy, Phase 1 requires us to implement 5 components. One is the rapid assessment to all health facilities. Secondly, the repair and mobilization of health infrastructure to restore services. Thirdly, our mass environmental health mitigation actions. And fourth, psychosocial and mental health interventions to the population impacted, both staff and citizens, and our staff welfare action, assessing the impact on our healthcare workers and how we can support them to be back on the front line.
Dr. Christopher Tufton, the Minister of Health and Wellness. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more news after these.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is...
It's 16 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offices in Mandeville and Mobay are closed until further notice. The Kingston office is operational. Rentokil Initial empathizes with our fellow Jamaicans as we rebuild Jamaica together. The temperature brought to you by Rentokil Initial is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 out west in Montego Bay. Continuing the news, local government minister Desmond McKenzie is rejecting media reports suggesting that hurricane shelters across the island are lacking basic supplies.
Specific reference has been made to a number of shelters, especially in Westmoreland, about the lack of basic needs, supplies, and lack of security. I just want to give the country the assurance that all the shelters that was outlined by the new Director General of ARDPEM is fully equipped, not just with food supplies, but with adequate security water. So I want again to dismiss the mischief that is being made, that the government is not doing anything about the shelters. It is not true.
According to Minister McKenzie, one of the main challenges at the facilities is that many individuals visit the shelters during the day but do not stay overnight, creating the impression that they are overcrowded. He also announced that a field assessment will be conducted in the coming days to determine the actual number of people currently in the shelters.
We have been working closely with the ARDPEM and the municipal corporations to ensure all the shelters have the requisite needs. The numbers have reduced. Next week, we'll be putting some 300 workers of the Youth Summer Employment Program to go into the affected areas to do an actual count of the numbers of persons in the shelters. And once that is done, we will take a determination how many shelters will be closing down or how many shelters must remain in operation.
Desmond McKenzie, local government minister.
The National Solid Waste Management Authority, the NSWMA, is appealing for patience as it works to restore regular garbage collection schedules following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. This amid complaints that collection has been slow since before the weather event. NSWMA boss Audley Gordon says there's been an 8-day collection delay.
We are behind in most of Jamaica right now. We are behind, and we are behind for a number of reasons. We didn't come into the hurricane with a good record. We were behind coming into the hurricane. Now the hurricane take away from us in total about 8 days, because about 4 days before the hurricane, we have to resort to what we call the pre-Melissa cleanup. This is where we target mainly mini dumps and loose garbage and roadways. And the problematic areas that are prone to flooding, we stop for 1 day because it was dangerous for the crew as the hurricane passes. And then just after the hurricane, our first priority was to do the debris management.
The monstrous Category 5 hurricane left close to 5 million tons of debris in its wake. Teams from the NSWMA were among the first on the ground, carrying out cleaning up activities on the nation's roads. Mr. Gordon says the agency is working to resume normal collection efforts.
We are now back out. In some regions, we are back to full strength in terms of our staff complement and so on. Like in the WPM region, which concerns the areas like Westmoreland, Hanover, Trelawney, St. James, we don't have the full complement of staff up to now because the conditions that they live in now and so on, some of them trying to get even close to where come to work. But we are still working there and we are still pushing hard and we are still out there.
That's Audley Gordon. He is the Executive Director at the NSWMA.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute. A rare blackout hit the entire Dominican Republic on Tuesday, snarling traffic and paralyzing businesses in the country of nearly 11 million people. Officials blamed a failure in the grid's transmission system, but it wasn't immediately clear what caused it. Generation units in at least 2 major power plants shut down, triggering a cascade of failures at other transmission and generation plants. It wasn't immediately clear how quickly power would be restored. The blackout disrupted mass transit systems, including the metro in the capital, Santo Domingo. Nearly 60% of the Dominican Republic's energy supply is fueled by oil, followed by coal and natural gas. The Dominican Republic is one of several countries in the Caribbean which were affected by Hurricane Melissa last month.
A U.S. naval strike force centered around the world's largest warship, the USS Gerald R. Ford, has arrived in the Caribbean region. The arrival of the strike group was ordered by President Donald Trump last month. It comes amid ongoing strikes against alleged drug boats and tensions with Venezuela. The U.S. has so far carried out at least 19 strikes against boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. At least 76 people have been killed in the strikes. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has accused the United States of fabricating a crisis and seeking to topple the country's left-wing socialist government. In a statement, the U.S. Navy says the strike group entered the area of responsibility of U.S. Southern Command on Tuesday. The aircraft carrier includes more than 4,000 sailors, guided missile destroyers, and various other vessels.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the Holness administration is heading to COP30 to press for more international assistance following Hurricane Melissa.
As we look at the recent impact of Melissa, we will have to unlock multilateral and bilateral support as we seek to rebuild.
45 Jamaicans now confirmed dead and 15 others are missing 2 weeks after the massive hurricane.
And the government is telling principals to be lenient with uniform rules for the students who have been affected by the hurricane.
They lost their house. Their house may have leaked terribly, even if it's in Kingston. And we have to be sensitive to that.
Sections of hard-hit Westmoreland to have electricity restored in 2 weeks.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
And listeners, you can find the news on our website at rivanews.ai and on the Riva News app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Ho, ho, ho! And what would you like for Christmas?
A paint tough enough for my messy grandkids. Perfect color matching for my living room.
Paint that covers in fewer coats, A finish that stands up to sun or rain,
BH Paints has you covered. Now up to 25% off.
Be one of the first 200 monthly to register on championsofcolor.com and get a free gallon of BH New Ultimate Advanced Formula. No purchase required.
All I want for Christmas is BH Paints.
Discounts available at BH Paint stores and participating hardwares.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The Jamaican right-arm fast bowler O.J. Shields will be in the West Indies squad for the three-test series against New Zealand at the start of December. The 29-year-old Shield was selected in the Jamaica Scorpions squad for the regional Super 50 tournament, but he was later withdrawn, and he's currently participating in a Cricket West Indies high-performance training camp over in Antigua. Shields' place in the Jamaica Scorpions squad has gone to medium-pace bowler Andre Bailey of Kingston Cricket Club. Robert Haynes is coach of the Jamaica Scorpions.
Yes, the first squad that was announced had in Shields, O.J. Shields, but he has been selected in the West Indies test squad for New Zealand. So he's been replaced by Andre Bailey. So that is the only change. And if you look at from last year, all it was announced is Jordan is in. Jordan Johnson basically came in because our captain, John Campbell, is away on West Indies duty.
That's Robert Haynes, coach of the Jamaica Scorpions team. This is Shields' first call-up to the West Indies team, having appeared in West Indies A versus South Africa A in May of this year. The West Indies and New Zealand will play 3 test matches, the first one at the Hagley Oval in Christchurch starting on December 1. And the Jamaica Scorpions, they are currently engaging in their final inter-squad game ahead of the regional Super 50 tournament. The team will travel on Sunday to Port of Spain, Trinidad, for the start of the tournament next Wednesday. The team, led by Captain Brad Barnes, is taking on the aggregation led by JaVale Glenn, who is vice-captain of the Jamaica team. And the Glen 11 were 129 for 5 when rain stopped play. They have since resumed, and as I mentioned, it's a day-night game. The squad was unable to train in the week leading up to the Hurricane Melissa and days after. The squad was Robert Haynes is coach of the squad, and of course he said that since the players returned to training last week, they've been going non-stop to make up for lost time.
We resumed training basically about 4 days after the storm, and we have been training ever since, every day. You know, the guys who probably don't get to do net practice, they're in the gym, they are doing under the indoor facilities, plus we have these games. Because what we're looking at is game scenarios where basically we have all the boxes ticked so far, which is good, but this is the first night game for us.
Haynes says the players even took time out of their schedule to travel to some of the most affected areas in the country to provide hurricane relief out of their own pocket.
The Scorpion squad, all the members got together and we bought stuff, and the guys took down to the country. Because we have a few players who, family members, got affected, and we did that. So we didn't get to train for about 9 days. For 9 days, we didn't get to do anything at all.
That's Robert Haynes. They call him Senior Pro. He's coach of the Jamaica Scorpions team. The Jamaica Scorpions will open their campaign in the regional Super 50 tournament. Next Wednesday, they'll take on the Guyana Harpy Eagles at the Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain. Patrick Graham, head coach of the Costa Cup hopefuls, the Manning School, says he's happy that the Inter-Secondary School Sports Association is looking at the possibility of restarting the 2025 schoolboy football season that has been put on hold indefinitely due to the passage of Hurricane Melissa. ISA's competition officer, Ewan Scott, he told Nationwide Sports on Monday that they're looking at getting the competitions back on track in the 3rd week of November. Scott says all is well with the urban area Manning Cup competition, but 4 schools which suffered major damage is one of their concerns for the Costa Cup. However, he expressed confidence that even those schools have committed to playing the competition, and for that, Graham is happy.
So the idea that the competition will resume is a good one. The youngsters are looking forward to the competition being resumed. I know that it will help them in terms of their mindset, their psyche, just to take their minds off what is happening. Now, we know that we were on a good run, of course, and the hurricane came at a bad time. But nonetheless, we have to refocus and get ourselves back into the groove. We'll go again.
Manning's topped their preliminary round Group C after winning 8 from 8, but in the round of 16, they lost their first and only game in the round of 16. But Graham says the players are still excited to resume.
Yes, the players are highly excited about that. They were asking questions as to when they can start training. So yes, they're looking forward. They would love to play some football. So let us see what happens.
That's Patrick Graham, coach of the Manning School. And finally, in sports at this time, Jamaica will bow into action at the 25th staging of the Caribbean Women's Basketball Tournament on Wednesday. They take on Suriname at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall in Guyana, capital city Georgetown, and it starts at 3:30 at Jamaica time on Wednesday. Coach of Jamaica, Neil Brown, says the players are in high spirits at the minute, despite arriving in Guyana late after experiencing flight delays.
We just came in this morning from a long day of traveling. We got delayed on our leg from Trinidad, Port of Spain to Guyana. We arrived in Guyana about minutes after 6 in the morning, kind of settled down, looking to go into practice sometime this evening, about 6:30 there. We're ready to go. The overseas base players have joined us. We're going to prepare for tomorrow's game.
So the 5-team tournament will be played on a round-robin basis, each team playing each other once. At the end of it, the top 3 teams will qualify for the Central Basketball Tournament, which is next year. Mexico, El Salvador, and Nicaragua have already secured their spots to Central after finishing on the podium at the Copa Women's Championship in June this year. And Jamaica's next game will be against the Bahamas on Friday. They also have other games against the Virgin Islands on Saturday. And they've got a crunch showdown against the host team on Sunday. That's Guyana. And Brown says the format suits the Jamaica team well.
We'll play tomorrow, Wednesday, and we'll be off on Thursday. But we'll play back-to-back Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So normally in this stage, CBC, every team will play every day. So that rest for me is going to go a long way. When we look on paper, we know we're going to play Suriname, have a rest day all day, train in the morning early, first thing, Thursday morning, then your legs off, and the ladies will be at home all day. Then you prepare Friday morning to play Bahamas, then you have the evening. So it's kind of different from before because it's just 5 teams.
That's coach of the Jamaica women's basketball team, O'Neal Brown. Cuba are the defending champions. They won the tournament when it was last staged in 2022, but they're missing this season. And before we go, just in case you missed it, O.J. Shield, the 29-year-old Jamaican fast bowler, has been called up to the West Indies team for the 3-test series over in New Zealand, the first test starting on December 1 at the Hagley Oval in Christchurch. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade. From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocherias to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is
31 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 30 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy, delicious, crunchy. New collaboration, run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch. The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Pan select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. With 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy, delicious, crunchy. New collaboration, run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch. The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
They've lost homes.
Everything is gone. I have no house, I have nothing.
They've lost power.
no water, no food, no light, no bed. Jamaican people need desperate help.
Some haven't heard a familiar voice in days.
The last thing I said to my sister, please be safe. And that was the last time.
For others, hope is starting to ebb. But together, we are rebuilding Jamaica, one parish at a time.
Well, we have to try. We have to try. Can't give up.
Join Nationwide 90 FM from November 21 to December 19, every Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. as we broadcast live from Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, Hanover, and St. Elizabeth, helping families and communities rebuild after Hurricane Melissa.
And you can help too.
Bring your donations, non-perishable food, water, hygiene products, lighting, or recovery supplies to our office at 14 Ocean Boulevard, the Digital Building, downtown Kingston.
Let's show the true strength of our nation: unity, compassion, and care. Together, we can rebuild lives and restore hope. Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Give us strength. Never let I fail.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, Cliff. Good afternoon to the listeners and viewers. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brooks.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm hanging in there.
No, you can't hang.
You'd be surprised.
You can't hang.
You'd be surprised what I can do.
No, you cannot hang.
You'd be surprised what I can do.
If I had a rope, it will bust. To pop.
Bugs, turn off your mic.
Both hanging in there.
Listeners, today marks 2 weeks since the catastrophic Hurricane Melissa made landfall in Jamaica. The Category 5 system caused significant infrastructural damage, especially in the western end of the island. Melissa left thousands homeless.
Since then, both government and non-government organizations and other philanthropic individuals have been seeking to help people to get back on their feet. The Information Minister, Senator Dana Morris Dixon, says the number of donors and bilateral partners supporting the Melissa relief effort continues to grow.
Over 170 donors are registered on the relief portal. That's a lot of donors. There are a lot of small ones. I know there are a lot of them that you see in the media and you see them on social media. Those are the big ones. But there are 170 of them that have registered and have brought in things into the country and have been supported by the government of Jamaica, whether it is through ODPEM, the Civil Aviation Authority in terms of getting the planes landing rights, and other government entities that may be working with them, including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In addition to that, we have 40 bilateral partners. That means 40 countries have provided aid to Jamaica.
Senator Dana Morris Dixon, the Information Minister.
In the meantime, over $400 million in cash donation, has been received through the government's official web-based support system. That update was provided by the Director General at ODPEM, Commander Alvin Gale.
To date, locally and overseas combined, just over 14,000 donors have inputted cash through our systems with just over $400 million in those systems. The ODPEM, on behalf of the government of Jamaica, has also received into our stores just over $500 million worth of aid, with an over 80% rate of distribution for the relief items. As we move into the restoration phase or the recovery phase, we'll be pushing out more items from that package. We've also received some significant support from our partner nations and organizations. The partnerships have generally provided aircraft services, field hospitals, food aid, mapping aid, search and rescue services, operational and logistics support.
That's Commander Alvin Gale, Director General of ODPEM. He says more than 100 flight hours have been used over the last week to deliver relief supplies.
Commander Gale was speaking at a media briefing this morning. For an update on the government's response, we're being joined by the Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie. Good afternoon, Minister.
Good afternoon, Ricardo. Good afternoon, Cliff.
Good afternoon.
Good to be here.
Good afternoon. 2 weeks after the passage of Melissa, Minister McKenzie, do we know how many people we have reached in terms of the national relief effort?
Well, if we go by the amount of packages that we would have delivered, it's close to 50,000 people, and we're still counting the numbers today in terms of the drops that was done. Those figures are not in, but I believe by Thursday we should have a more up-to-date number. But I can say, Cliff, right across we have reached a significant number of Jamaicans. Many of the areas that were once where we could not access, we have now gained access to many of these areas. And so the relief supplies has been going in. The Ministry of Labour, the local authorities, act them collectively. And I must say that our partners, Food for the Poor, GEM, and other such agencies have been on the ground. And all of these efforts are being coordinated by ADPEM along with the local authorities and the Ministry of Labour.
So we hear a lot about the food drops and the toiletries and that kind of thing being handed out. But what about housing, Minister? Are we any further along in terms of providing shelter for some of the people who lost everything?
Well, I can tell you, based on the discussions coming out of Cabinet yesterday and what Minister Dixon have spoke about where we are now, there are positions that we are finalizing on, and those positions will be made known next week as to where we go. But we are well advanced right now in looking at the question of shelters, because it is clear that a lot of the shelters that we have, we will have to wind up these shelters because it can't be that these people are going to be there indefinitely. And one of the things that we have picked up in the survey that our team on the ground is conducting is that a number of persons have gone back to where they were, and they are now making good with what existed before in terms of their shelter. And we'll be looking now to ensure that for those who can help themselves, we are going to be moving to the next phase where we provide assistance for them to help themselves to sort of get themselves back in a position that they can have a roof over their head, even on a temporary basis. And we're going to be giving a number of tarpaulins. The Director General of ADPEM spoke about some 43,000 tarpaulins that will have been made available because of the existing rainfalls that is to come, and a lot more over the next couple of days.
Two queries regarding that. One, you said that some people are making do with what was left. You know, I imagine them picking up at the zinc, the board, trying to get their structures back up. But in some of those areas, weren't they in vulnerable places to begin with? So is it advisable for them to be rebuilding in that area? And two, how are you going to ensure that you know exactly who needs the shelter support?
Well, remember I said temporary, so I did not say a permanent fix. Okay? Now, the survey that we have been doing will, speak definitively, and that is why it's important that when that survey is being done, that the persons are at the location so we know. And it is clear based on the areas, the persons, it is not difficult to find the persons. And the system that we are going to be putting in place will help us significantly to weed out those who are not genuinely the ones that need to be registered for the benefits.
Minister, you said at the media briefing this morning that regarding shelters, what you are seeing is a surge in the numbers of people during the day. Yes?
Yes,
and,
that is right.
And what happens during the night? Where do they go during the night?
Well, most of them go. Those who remain are the ones who generally need the shelters. And it is based on the survey that we have done and the systems that we have been putting in place that have allowed us. There's one shelter in I think it's somewhere in Hanover, where during the day the numbers that are there is about 160 60-something. But in the night, when it comes down to sleeping, the shelter has about 20 persons there.
So what do they go to the shelter during the day for? Food, water?
They go there sometimes to get food, water, just to keep, just to keep friends, keep company with some of those persons who are there.
Oh.
So it is not that the shelters are being overrun. A lot of the shelters now have literally have nobody in them. And the next phase of what we're going to be doing now, arising out of this survey, is to determine those shelters that we can now close and put some things in place that will help those persons to find alternative, place to stay once that is agreed. And we have started to work on that. The SDC is on the ground, especially in Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth, doing that survey now.
Right.
So it will be something that we will have shortly at our disposal.
Hold the line for us, Minister. We're up on our first and last break.
Protecting your personal data is a priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. We urge you to use the agency's official platforms to conduct your business. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:46.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jackama figure dig the wall. Upper Total Tools. Weed whacker figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand. Total Tools. We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option. Total Tools located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slibe Road, Kingston. And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. You're tuned into the cover story, and we have with us the Minister of Local Government and Community Development providing an update on the government's response to Hurricane Melissa 2 weeks on. Minister Mackenzie, you would have heard the calls from sections of civil society for a real-time audit to be conducted. And I saw in the print media today where the Auditor General says that she has initiated such an audit. Has your ministry been contacted by the auditors?
No, my minister have not been contacted, but I just want to make the point that the Prime Minister have made it abundantly clear, even before the aid start to come in, that transparency and openness will be the order of the day. So, we are prepared for that, and whatever systems are going to be put in place, the government is ready to adhere to those systems and to make public, whatever has been received and whatever is being spent. The government has indicated that that is what our intention. And you must remember, many of these are also international aid that is coming into the country. So the government has to be very, very, very transparent in it, and the government is up to it.
Which brings me to the point of ODPEM, because those same critics have said that ODPEM is not up to scratch and that it's been hollowed out under this administration. Are you satisfied that the accountability mechanisms at ODPEM can stand up to the scrutiny of the auditors?
The government, based on the outcome of Beryl, the Prime Minister did order an in-depth survey to be done on the entire disaster response capabilities of the country. And arising out of the findings of those, of what was done by the former Commissioner of Police. That is why we are here today, with the changes that have been made to make all the arms, not just ODPEM alone, but all of our disaster response capabilities in the country, to put them on a better footing that makes them more accountable, make them more responsive in terms of what the roles, the various roles are. And it is not just the ODPEM alone that is a part of the response mechanism for disaster. It is a combined whole of government and private sector engagement that is there. So when I hear people talk about making them hollow, this administration have pumped more into them more than any other administration. You know, so I don't want anybody to try to deny the fact that there has been problems at them, problems that has been inherited, and problems that this administration was bold enough to take the necessary steps to make the difference.
Are any of those problems as a result of political interference?
Yeah, when you say political interference, what do you mean?
Meaning the minister exercising more power than he ought to.
No. The minister, it is when the ADPEM doesn't do well, it is the political directorate.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That is blame. So
Yes.
what I'm saying is, it is the responsibility to see that the policies that has been announced by the government, that those policies are initiated, and that is all. To put in place the policy directives, and that is what is important. Put in place the policy directives. So if you are saying that is political interference, well, you know, I'm sorry, but the government has to ensure that its policies, especially around disaster, is there so that the country can benefit from it. And that is very simple.
So do I hear you saying that where there has been interference or involvement by the minister, yourself, the political executive, it's to enforce existing policy?
To ensure that the government policy is in place.
Yes.
And that is all that it is. And that is the responsibility. In your organization, you also have to reach in to ensure that the areas of responsibility that you have under your portfolio is taken care of.
So none of it is you directing any of the experts or the technocrats in how they should tender their advice or carry out their functions?
No, you know, the things that we say and do, whenever we go out to speak on issues, we speak on the information provided by the technocrats in the organization. Okay? We speak. And, you know, let me say this. When a minister of government or an official of government speaks on these issues, we are provided with the information. Okay? The information that is provided by the persons who are considered the technocrats. We can't go here and make the determination. We can see what is happening when we get complaints and we see for ourselves. We will say, well, you know, I think this should be a part of the initiative that should be taken as you look towards implementing your policies around disaster preparedness.
Yeah.
You know,
Minister,
and that is simple.
Minister Mackenzie, let me bring you back now to what's happening in terms of delivering the relief and the aid that people need. Yes? We heard from Commander Gale today, 30,000 households displaced. 88 shelters remained open. 2 communities still marooned. Petersville in Westmoreland, Duckett in St. James, and 34 roads remain blocked. Focus with me. 34 roads remain blocked. How is that impacting the delivery of relief for those people in those areas, in those communities that are still, yes, hemmed in by blocked roads?
Okay, the 34 roads which are blocked is made up of a number of factors. There's about 1,500 GPS poles which are down and main transmission lines. A discussion with Minister Vaz and the chairman of the GPS about that this morning. That is one of the areas that is affecting the access in some areas because of the block roads and the fallen GPS poles. That is being attended to. The other areas of concern in terms of access, those areas now is being worked on. Minister Morgan now is looking at other means of gaining access. So that area of block roads is being taken care of, and I hope that by the end of the week we will have further update as to how much of that number of roads. Access have now been gained to go into those various communities.
And in relation to Petersville and the Duckets, the two marooned communities.
Those two marooned communities.
No, hold on. The question is, how have we gotten supplies to those people, and how much?
Airdrops. I can't say the precise number, but efforts was made to get to them by using here.
And the airdrops meaning food packages.
Helicopter, right? Yeah. Yes.
And a package of food is able to serve how many people for how long?
Some of the package can last for 3 days, depends on the size of the family, and a lot more than is required is taken into those areas where access is limited.
And so the airdrops would be repeated every 3 days then? Or
right,
4
the
days?
airdrops, right, yes, based on the condition, because in some sections of the island, flying is sort of difficult at some times.
Turning to the fatalities, 45 confirmed dead, 9 still under investigation. Any further development since morning when we got those numbers?
No, we're not expecting to get any more details until sometime tomorrow or closer to Thursday. But it is just unfortunate. The numbers presently reminds me of Gilbert, because it was the same amount of casualties we had in Gilbert 37 years ago.
And in relation to the reported case of rape or sexual violence, you did say that the security forces did an investigation. Were you able to pinpoint from the investigation, was there an incident, not necessarily rape or what, which led to this report?
My understanding from that is that there was some personal conflict between two individuals. And out of that, but both individuals left the shelter. So the altercation between both has nothing to do with the shelter. There has been no reports of any such activities in any of the almost 600 shelters that was established during the passage of Melissa. None at all. We have not received any such reports, neither from the police nor from our shelter managers and things. I am meeting this Friday with the disaster coordinators across the island to have an update as to what has taken place, but none of the reports that have come in to the command center, to the Ministry of Local Government, have indicated any acts of violence or physical sexual assault.
And Minister, following up on that question from Cliff, because that's part of the problem you're facing now, isn't it? A storm of misinformation all over social media, people just making outlandish claims. What's the government's plan to combat that? I mean, I know you're having the press briefings now twice a week, but it's really bad out there, you know that, right?
I know it's bad, but those who are doing that have other motives why they are taking that line. And if they believe that it is the government of Dr. Andrew Holness that they are hurting, they are making a mistake. What they are doing is tarnishing the reputation of Jamaica. It is Jamaicans that are hurting, not the government alone. Because what is being done is deliberate. And a man can put up a video to say that we are saying to people that you must have an ID to get food package, when nowhere in any pronouncements that have been made, the committee that I coach here has never taken that decision. Okay? And then you have other persons in high places here in Jamaica who know better, who is echoing. I mean, what I saw, the display that greeted me in Falmouth on Saturday, is telling me that it is not just mere propaganda, but a lot of what is being done is orchestrated.
What did you see in Falmouth?
I was greeted with time coming, orange shirt and all that sort of thing. I mean, it is just unfortunate that at a time like this when the country should be banding together as one, pulling our resources, in an effort to ensure that brand Jamaica comes out on top. We have this sort of campaign that is designed to try to discredit the government and to try to discredit the efforts that is being made to restore Jamaica.
You think it's politically organized propaganda?
Well, sometimes for me right now, I want to say so, because based on some of the things that I've seen, when I look at the people who are there, what they're wearing and the things that they're saying, it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate. Jamaica right now don't need this kind of divisiveness. What we need now is the collective response of every single Jamaican to tackle this problem. Because if anybody believes that if we fail as a government, somebody's going to come and succeed. They have a guest coming.
Yeah. Minister Mackenzie, I hear the storm of disinformation, as Ricardo puts it, and my response is, keep our heads down, get the aid and the recovery to the people. And in that regard, I have on YouTube Cliff, ask him about North Clarendon, Johns Hall, Silver Spring, Frankfield, up there, bad. The people are suffer. They see no one. That's some Valiant on YouTube.
I can't speak to that. I will now have to investigate that one to see whether or not that has been done. And let me say this, Cliff. It is difficult in this time, Cliff, for us to be able to cover effectively all the areas, Cliff. And as I said, Cliff, the team has been out. We have been expanding the relief supplies. We have had more people out. Some of our partners now is being diverted to other communities across the country, Cliff. Jamaica is not a small country, Cliff. Mm-hmm. And in good times, we have difficulty reaching some communities, Cliff, and based on the circumstances.
Well, beg you check this one out, yeah? Into North Clarendon, Johns Hall, Silver Spring.
I'm going to be doing that right now, Cliff.
Yes.
And I know the Ed is listening to me there at Artem, and Minister Charles is listening, and Minister Vaz will move to tackle those areas, and wherever we find this kind of situation, I am urging the public to get in touch and let us know. This government, Cliff, is working hard. The government understands the hardships that many Jamaicans are facing, and we are not backing away from our responsibility as a government to ensure that we get the aid to reach the Jamaicans.
Which of the committees you co-chair with Minister Vaz?
That is the committee that deals with the relief supplies distribution. He's on one side, we deal with the logistics. I'm on the side that deals with the distribution.
Thank you very much.
And the Ministry of Labour.
Thank you very much, Minister Mackenzie.
Thank you. And just before we go, Cliff, some news out of the Parliament. The Agriculture Minister, listeners, Floyd Green, is now reporting that agriculture losses are continuing to climb. It's now at $30 billion. That's up from $20 billion last week. He's currently on his feet in the House of Representatives. He says nearly 1 million egg-laying birds have been lost.
So we can, make
Christmas. It's a good grim.
We not have got no egg.
$30 billion. That's one sector, agriculture.
Oh, Lord. No eggs. There's already a shortage of eggs.
Yes, I noticed that. And produce. The produce section is...
Yes.
Book says from even before the hurricane.
Yes, it's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse. It's 3 minutes after 6. It's time for the headlines.
The hour was brought to you by the new Doritos Zinger from KFC. The delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy Zinger and Doritos. Also available in barbecue Zinger, limited time only. KFC Doritos Zinger, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
5 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening. With the headlines at 6, I'm Norige Banton. The Holness administration is headed to the COP30 Climate Change Summit in Brazil to seek additional international assistance following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Climate Change Minister Matthew Samuda departs the island on Saturday for the summit.
I expect to have several meetings with key funding agencies, including the Climate Investment Fund, the GCF, indeed the IDB and the World Bank. As we look at the recent impact of Melissa, we will have to unlock multilateral and bilateral support as we seek to rebuild. Now, obviously, the issue of climate change is front and center as we contemplate COP30, and we are hoping for a strong agreement. As President Lula had said, this is what we're hoping will be the honest COP, meaning we're asking people not to come up with ambitious commitments that never get fulfilled, but rather to come to the COP and explain how they will honor commitments already made, commitments that already would lead us toward sticking within 1.5 degree warming.
COP30 is the 30th United Nations Conference of Parties. It's a global climate conference organized by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It brings together the nearly 200 nations who are part of this agreement. Several climate experts have said Hurricane Melissa has renewed the urgency of financing for small island developing states who are often worst affected by natural disasters. Minister Samuda says the impact global warming has on small states has been hammered home by the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa. 45 Jamaicans have been confirmed dead and 14 others are missing 2 weeks after Hurricane Melissa battered western Jamaica. The grim count was disclosed by Information Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon. The Information Minister says deaths have been confirmed in 7 parishes.
Hanover, 2, Westmoreland, 15, St. James, 6, Trelawney, 2, St. Anne, 1, Portland, 1, St. Elizabeth, 18. So that's a total confirmed of 45. In terms of postmortems, they have been able to conduct 33 postmortems to date, and there are some that they are waiting to do the postmortems on.
Meanwhile, Director General of ODPEM, Commander Alvin Gale, says work is on the way to confirm the reports of missing persons.
15 persons have been reported missing. The JCF continues their process of verification through a series of welfare checks. More than 130 buildings have sustained some level of damage, ranging from partial roof loss to complete collapse, while some 30,000 households have been displaced.
Commander Alvin Gale, Director General at ODPEM. Meanwhile, Commander Gale says expected rainfall could hamper relief efforts across the affected parishes.
The current weather forecast is for periods of showers and isolated thunderstorms to affect primarily sections of northern parishes beginning this afternoon and continuing to Thursday morning. Isolated showers and thunderstorms are likely across southwestern parishes during this time. Additionally, gusty winds expected across northern parishes on Tuesday, here being that while significant rainfall is not expected, ongoing relief operations, particularly in the northern parishes, could be hampered. Weather conditions are forecasted to improve significantly through the course of Friday, with fair to partly conditions expected.
Commander Alvin Gale, Director General at ODPEM. And the government is calling on school administrators to show leniency in enforcing uniform rules against students impacted by Hurricane Melissa. The matter was raised on Tuesday following reports that some students were being locked out of school for wearing incorrect or incomplete uniforms. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon called on principals to be sensitive to the plight of affected students.
We have to be lenient with our children. They have been through a lot, and many of them, they lost their house. Their house may have leaked terribly, even if it's in Kingston. And we have to be sensitive to that. We need them to get back to their education. That's what is necessary. I looked over to my permanent secretary and she says she has seen no official reports of it. If you know of someone who was sent home because they don't have uniforms, please let me know so that we can treat with it in the ministry.
Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Education Minister, she was speaking at a media briefing today. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sport is next.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy delicious, crunchy, new collaboration run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it, KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch. The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy Zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
SCL Jamaica Limited is having a big blowout sale. Up to 70% off on Milwaukee tools. From power drills to saws, their top-notch Milwaukee tools will handle any project with ease. Hurry to SCL Jamaica Limited at Block L, Sagicor Industrial Center, 7 Norman Road, or call 876-938-1397 for more details. Sale runs November 10 to 28. Terms and conditions apply. Milwaukee, nothing but heavy duty.
The JN Group is advising JN mortgagers and persons with mortgage vehicle loans from JN Bank who suffered damage during Hurricane Melissa and are insured with JN General Insurance to begin filing their insurance claims with British Caribbean Insurance Company BCIC. You can log on to jngijamaica.com/report a claim or visit any JNGI or BCIC location to submit your insurance claim forms along with photographs of the damage. Sending in your claim as soon as possible will help in the speedy review and settlement. JN will help you find a way.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alwix Ribby. We bowl things off with some cricket as Jamaica right-arm fast bowler O.J. Shields will be in the West Indies squad for the 3-test series against New Zealand at the start of December. The 29-year-old Shields was selected in the Jamaica Scorpions squad for the regional Super 50 tournament but was later withdrawn and is currently in the Cricket West Indies high-performance 2-week training camp in Antigua. Shields' place in the Scorpions squad has gone to medium pacer Andre Bailey of the Kingston Cricket Club. Robert Haynes is the coach of the Scorpions.
Yes, the first squad that was announced had in Shields, O.J. Shields, but he has been selected in the West Indies test squad for New Zealand. So he's been replaced by Andre Bailey. So that is the only change. And if you look at from last year, all it was announced is Jordan is in. Jordan Johnson basically came in because our captain, John Campbell, is away on West Indies duty.
Robert Haynes, this is Shields' first call-up to the West Indies test team, having appeared for the West Indies A team against South Africa A in May this year. The West Indies will play 3 test matches against the Kiwis starting December 1 at the Hagley Oval in Christchurch. The Jamaica Scorpions are currently engaging in their final inter-squad game at Sabina Park before departing the island on Sunday for the regional Super 50 tournament in Trinidad and Tobago. A team led by Captain Brad Barnes is facing an aggregation skippered by Vice-Captain Javel Glenn in a day-night encounter. The squad was unable to train in the week leading up to and a few days following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Coach Robert Haynes told Nationwide Sports that since the players returned to the training last week, they have been going non-stop to make up for lost time.
We resumed training basically about 4 days after the storm, and we have been training ever since, every day. You know, the guys who probably don't get to do net practice, they are in the gym, they are doing under the indoor facilities, plus we have these games. Because what we're looking at is game-sense scenarios where basically we have all the boxes ticked so far, which is good, but this is the first night game for us.
Haynes says the players even took time out of their schedule to travel to some of the most affected areas of the country to provide hurricane relief out of their own pockets.
the Scorpion squad, all the members got together and we bought stuff and the guys took down to the country. Because we have a few players who, family members got affected. And we did that. So we didn't get to train for about 9 days. For 9 days, we didn't get to do anything at all.
The Jamaica Scorpions will open their campaign in the Super 50 tournament next Wednesday against the Guyana RP Eagles at the Queen's Park Oval. Now, Pakistan beat Sri Lanka by 6 runs in Rawalpindi on Tuesday to take a 1-0 lead in their 5-match one-day international series. Salman Hagar slammed an unbeaten 105 to steer Pakistan to 299 for 5. Agar shared in a 5th wicket stand of 138 with Hossein Talat, who weighed in with 62 against Wanedu Hazaranga, 3 for 54. The Sri Lanka reply with 293 for 9 as Hazaranga also starred with the bat, getting 59. Harish Rauf claimed 4 for 61. Now to basketball, as Jamaica will bow into action at the 25th Caribbean Women's Basketball Tournament on Wednesday when they face Suriname at the Caliph Anderson Sports Hall in Georgetown, Guyana, starting at 3:30 p.m. Jamaica time. Coach of Jamaica, O'Neil Brown, says the players are in high spirits despite arriving in Guyana late after experiencing flight delay.
We just came in this morning from a long day of traveling. We got delayed on our leg from Trinidad, Port of Spain to Guyana. We arrived in Guyana about minutes after 6 in the morning, kind of settled down, looking to go into practice sometime this evening, about 6:30 there. We're ready to go. The overseas base players have joined us. We're going to prepare for tomorrow's game.
The 5-team tournament will follow a round-robin format with each team facing each other once, with the top 3 teams in the final standings qualifying for next year's Central Basketball Women's Championships. Mexico, El Salvador and Nicaragua have already secured their spot for Central after finishing on the podium at the CONCACAF Women's Championships 2025 held in June. Jamaica's next game will be against the Bahamas on Friday before further games against the Virgin Islands on Saturday and a crunch showdown with the host on Sunday. Brown says the format suits his team well.
We'll play tomorrow, Wednesday, and we'll be off on Thursday. But we'll play back-to-back Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So normally in this stage, CBC, every team will play every day. So that rest for me is going to go a long way. When we look on paper, we're not going to play Suriname. Have a rest day all day. Train in the morning early, first thing, Thursday morning, then your legs off, and then the ladies will be at home all day. Then you prepare Friday morning to play Bahamas, then you have the evening. So it's kind of different from before because it's just 5 teams.
O'Neil Brown. Cuba is the reigning champion of the CBC Women's Championships, having claimed the title as host in the 2022 edition, but will not be at this year's tournament. Now to football, as Patrick Graham, head coach of the Manning School, one of the favourites for the Da Costa Cup, says he's happy that the Intersecondary School Sports Association, ISSA, is looking at the possibility of restarting the 2025 schoolboy football season. ISSA's competition officer, Ewan Scott, told Nationwide Sports that they are looking at getting the competition back on track in the 3rd week of November. The season had been put on hold indefinitely due to the passage of Hurricane Melissa.
All right, so the idea that the competition will resume is a good one. The youngsters are looking forward to the competition being resumed. I know that it will help them in terms of their mindset, their psyche, just to take their minds off what is happening. Now, we know that we were on a good run, of course, and the hurricane came at a bad time. But nonetheless, we have to refocus and get ourselves back into the group to go again.
Manning's topped Group C of the preliminary round with a perfect 8 wins from as many games. However, they were beaten in their lone round of 16 encounter, but Graham says the players are excited to resume the competition.
Yes, the players are highly excited about that. They were asking questions as to when they can start training. So yes, they are looking forward. They would love to play some football. So let us see what happens.
Patrick Graham. Now, head coach of Jamaica's senior men's football team, Steve McLaren, is labelling Shamar Nicholson as the best striker in the Caribbean. The 28-year-old Nicholson currently plies his trade in Mexico for Club Tijuana and is currently second on Jamaica's all-time scoring list with 21 goals, 14 behind leader, the late Luton Shelton.
If I go through the 4 strikers, Shamar is the best in the Caribbean, and I think Shamar became our talisman. You saw him in the last game, especially at home against Bermuda. He was the leader, he was the front man, he was the hustler, he was here, he was there, he was fighting for the ball, he was fighting for everything. And Shamar we've had ups and downs with, in form, out of form, but he's coming at the right time.
McLaren says Nicholson is vital towards the success of the national team and added that his record against Caribbean opposition makes him a lethal threat for any CONCACAF defence.
He's so important to us. The amount of goals that he scores against Caribbean teams, which is the reason why we brought him back into the fold. And it's a no-brainer. As a talisman up front, you need that number 9, and he is it.
Steve McLaren. The national team will be in action on Thursday in Port of Spain as they battle Trinidad and Tobago in a CONCACAF World Cup qualifier starting at 7 p.m. Jamaica time. I'm Alex Raby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:21.
Every school is free of unhealthy, ultra-processed products. You know, those high in salt, fats, and sugar. If only that weren't a dream. The reality is that many children have an unhealthy diet at school, and 23% of them are overweight or obese. This can lead to hypertension, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. Let's protect our children's right to health with a policy for schools that prevents unhealthy food marketing and ensures access to nutritious foods. The time is now. Let's implement the National School Nutrition Policy. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy, delicious, crunchy, new collaboration, run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos, nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch. The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
They've lost homes.
Everything is gone. Have no house, have nothing.
They've lost power.
No water, no food, no light, no bed. Jamaican people need desperate help.
Some haven't heard a familiar voice in days.
The last thing I said to my sister, please be safe. And that was the last time.
For others, hope is starting to ebb. But together, we are rebuilding Jamaica, one parish at a time.
We have to try. We have to try. Can't give up.
Join Nationwide 90 FM from November 21 to December 19, every Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. as we broadcast live from Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, Hanover, and St. Elizabeth, helping families and communities rebuild after Hurricane Melissa.
And you can help too.
Bring your donations, non-perishable food, water, hygiene products, lighting, or recovery supplies to our office at 14 Ocean Boulevard, the Digital Building, downtown Kingston.
Let's show the true strength of our nation: unity, compassion, and care. Together, we can rebuild lives and restore hope. Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special shout out to our friends over on our YouTube platform. Big up on yourself. Thank you so much for tuning in. We invite you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. So, sections of Westmoreland and Hanover are expected to have electricity restored in the next 2 weeks. Some good news there. That's according to President and CEO of the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, Hugh Grant.
Within the next 2 weeks, power will be in Hanover and Westmoreland. I heard Minister Mackenzie refer to what he's seen in Falmouth and Trelawney. Minister Mackenzie, this week, power will be in Trelawney. We will have power in Falmouth Town, Falmouth Hospital, and also the pier, whereby we're supporting the return of cruise ships to that particular pier.
Indeed, that's Hugh Grant, President and CEO of JPS. He was speaking earlier today at Jamaica House during a media briefing. Now, up to November 11, and let's listen because, the question coming up, I want for you to have context. Up to November 11, the JPS says it has restored power to over 64% of its customers island-wide. Now, that's more than 300,000 customers. The JPS says restoration efforts are being hampered in St. Elizabeth. So in Public Opinion this evening, we're asking you, the people, customers of JPS, are you satisfied with the pace of restoration by JPS? That's the question we're asking you. And I'll start with the comments on Facebook, where Audley Phillip is saying, in all fairness, it is not simple to put up poles and wires. JPS must ensure durability, resilience, safety, and stability so that the very scenario would not repeat itself the next time around. Audley Phillip is saying, he honestly believes that they are doing their sincere best to restore electricity as quickly and as humanly possible, given the severity of the damage. Additionally, he says, so many houses were damaged. JPS must ensure that those properties are completely isolated from the network for security and safety purposes. The commentator makes sense. Nicola Thompson is saying, Category 5 hurricane ain't no joke. It will take some time. We just have to wait it out and be patient. Jermaine Donovan is saying most of the country was out of electricity for well over 2 months during Hurricane Gilbert. This would definitely be after Hurricane Gilbert, Jermaine. Robert Ranger saying, yes, I do from what I've seen. Category 5 ain't no joke. Philip Jackson, or regular responder, he's saying we must take into consideration the infrastructural damage the JPS system suffered, which is millions, and those have to be replaced before we can be served. He's saying it's necessary for us to be considerate because others lost lives. We can use all kind of other sources of temporary light while we have our life. Just exercise patience, he urges. And he's saying, in the true definition of the word, which is the ability to endure difficult circumstances, delay or suffering without getting angry. George Elliott, they are doing quite well. Areas that did not expect power for another few months received power last night. Esteban saying no, he's not satisfied with the pace of restoration by JPS. Let me see. Maury McCarthy is saying, don't renew the license. That's according to Maury McCarthy. Angela Reid is saying, no, they don't even come to Upper Clarendon in the Peckham to Alston region. Yet they're sending message that my energy usage is 10% more than October. Don't know where or what or who using that when there is no light. And I know that these are the concerns that will emerge as people start get them bills. These are the concerns that will emerge. And I don't know, man. JPS did say to us before, brace ourselves for increase. They did say to us, brace ourselves for increase in our electricity bills after Hurricane Melissa. Are you satisfied with the pace of restoration by JPS? Anthony Shakes is saying no, and it's time JPS goes underground. Prince Wellington also saying no, but then them never have enough people at work from long time and technical staff and experience level just a rebound. Prince Wellington, what I can say to you is that they've been very vocal about the line workers that they've brought into the country, over 200 additional, they say, today. Keisha Tash is saying no because we imported more people and the power restoration is taking longer than Beryl did. Nicola Nicholson saying, yes, I'm quite comfortable with JPS. I can see that they're working wholeheartedly. On our Instagram platform, Marshall is saying he lives in Portmore and it's not that bad. So too Lethal Man saying it's not that bad in Portmore. Sophia saying, and to be honest, I think JPS is doing their best. I give them credit. Let me see. Hey, it's Lady Cutchinson saying to us, having experienced Gilbert, Ivan, Beryl, and now Melissa, they have improved since Beryl. Their performance has been creditable. To our YouTubers now, let me get your responses. Let me see if I can get the responses from our YouTubers. Michael Wright is saying, he wouldn't say that the government should not renew the license because they are doing a great job at this time. The people couldn't expect to get back light in less than 4 to 5. Is this 4 to 5 months? Dale is saying, looking at the devastation, people need to be patient. Tanya Jones saying that they are trying to impress by talking. Yeah. SW is saying that cannot be right. I'll know we don't get light in our area and we are surrounded with light and none in my area. No, I do recall JPS saying, putting out a picture of something saying that you're wondering, people have light around you and you're wondering how comes you not have light. I saw something in relation to that. Something may very well be happening to that connection there. Let me see if I can get in a few more. What about Moko? Not hearing anything from Moko, says Colette Smith. Yeah. LCR saying yes, by far they have exceeded expectations. I lost power for 6 months in Gilbert. Yeah. And Josephine is saying JPS must much better than last year. Yeah. Leroy is saying, I will not criticize JPS as to how they're going about doing the restoration. They must have a plan on how to do their stuff. And he's saying, just speed it up. Yeah. Just to speed it up. Howard French is telling us that they're doing their best that they can, and he's urging patience. He's saying patience is a virtue, but too much will hurt you. Wow. I never heard it that way before. The too much will hurt you part. But every day you learn something. Rayan Wright is saying it's not that bad. They're doing their best. I Am Winning Right Now is saying it's going to take time for JPS to restore electricity. People need to be patient. We want everything and we want it. No. You can't go so none at all. Let me see. Blessed Marcia, I see your comment here. I see your comment about growing fast. Okay. Let me see. PB is telling JPS to do them thing. It's better safe than sorry. Yeah. And Nikki Willis saying it's not robots working, you know. It's not robots working. A human being at work. So take on the time with them. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening, for participating in Public Opinion. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:33. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robeanne Williams. The rate of UK unemployment has risen to 5% in the 3 months to September, showing signs the jobs market has weakened. That's according to new official figures. It's the highest rate since the period covering December 2020 to February 2021, according to the Office for National Statistics, ONS, boosting expectations of a December interest rate cut. Now, the increase in the unemployment rate was higher than expected, coming in above the 4.9% projected by many analysts ahead of the budget on November 26. Average wage growth was 4.6% in the third quarter, down from 4.7% over the 3 months to August. In the currency markets, at the close of trading today, it cost 160 Jamaican dollars and 82 cents to buy $1 US, 212 Jamaican dollars and 73 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 113 Jamaican dollars and 71 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Run for rights, give for relief. Join Jamaicans for Justice at the Run for Rights 5K Run Walk, November 30, 6 a.m. sharp at the Police Officers Club, Kingston. Choose your cause: human rights, child rights, climate justice, or ending gender-based violence. Only $2,500 to enter. Medals, trophies, and more. Register now at my.raceresult.com/355144. Part proceeds in aid of hurricane relief. You can bring your essential items on race day. Every donation counts. Call 876-239-7583 for details.
The National Land Agency, NLA, is pleased to advise that its Montego Bay office has reopened today, Tuesday, November 11, 2025. Please note, however, that operating hours have been adjusted to 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., Mondays to Fridays, until further notice. The agency sincerely thanks its customers for their patience, understanding, and continued support as we work together to rebuild stronger and better following the passage of Hurricane Melissa.
Attention Megamart Montego Bay team members. The Megamart family would like to know if you are safe and well. Please join us for an important meeting at Megamart Montego Bay on Friday, November 14, 2025 at 10 a.m. If you are a family member or friend of a Megamart Montego Bay team member, please help us in getting this message to them. Thank you and stay safe.
Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited are authorized distributors of international brands ABB, Omron, STC, Festo, and Thomas & Betts. They supply programmable logic controllers, photoelectric and proximity sensors, contactors and soft starters, power supplies, variable frequency drives, and much more. Visit them at 24 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston, or shop 32 Overton Plaza, 46 Union Street, Montego Bay, or visit their website cleasling.net. Cleasing Industrial Supplies for all your industrial automation and control solutions.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Hi, I'm Lori Gale from Oasis, advising of a change in our program focus, November 5 to 18. We do a shift from reading the Word to living out the Word. Host Roland Gale will speak with heads of churches regarding their intervention in getting our lives back on track following Hurricane Melissa. Be sure to join Roland and his guests on Oasis beginning Wednesday, November 5, 12:55 p.m., with a repeat at 5:45 a.m. Only on Nationwide, the new revolution in media. Let's all be praying for our nation.
On Wednesday, November 12, 2025, Nationwide 90 FM will broadcast live from the National Parent Month Recovery Mission launch at Tivoli Gardens High School from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. under the theme Stronger Parenting Together. This year's Parent Month focuses on supporting parents in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. Nationwide 90 FM will be on the ground, sharing stories, information, and practical guidance to strengthen parenting and community resilience during this critical period. Stakeholders play a vital role in helping parents regain stability, access essential resources, and build coping skills. The coverage will highlight the collective efforts of communities and institutions working together to support effective parenting and recovery. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online on Wednesday, November 12 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Catch our live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, or catch us broadcasting live from the National Parent Month Recovery Mission launch at Tivoli Gardens High. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With the Stinger Honey Bee
and Karim Boyatings
from 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you said?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezone blinddates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblinddates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions. Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow. Ow.
Good evening. 19 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And this is the nation's business inside Nationwide at 5. Well, the adverse impact of Hurricane Melissa on agriculture is getting worse. That's according to the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining's Floyd Green. He gave the update in the House of Representatives a few moments ago. Minister Green says the losses to agriculture now amount to nearly $30 billion.
The devastation is extensive. As I've said before, our most productive agricultural zones have taken the hardest hit, which also includes parts of St. Anne and parts of Clarendon. Our preliminary assessment, conducted in collaboration with RADA, NFA, NIC, Banana Board, and our other agencies, revealed approximately 41,390 hectares of farmland has been affected, impacting over 70,000 farmers, with a loss of over 1.2 million animals, including small ruminants. Madam Speaker, the up-to-date assessments put the financial loss to the agricultural sector at $29.5 billion. The hurricane's wrath spared little in our agricultural sector. In relation to domestic crops, we lost about 32,400 hectares of our vegetable lines, amounting to an estimated $8 billion in loss, affecting 47,500 farmers. The crops that were most significantly impacted include sweet pepper, tomato, lettuce, cabbage, carrot, and vine crops like melon and cantaloupe also suffered a significant blow. Our banana and plantain crops, covering 2,450 hectares, have losses estimated at $2.9 billion, impacting 2,760 farmers. In fact, almost all our commercial banana and plantain crop has been negatively impacted. Fruit trees covering 1,870 hectares have damages estimated at $337 million, affecting 4,500 farmers. Unfortunately, our yam farmers were not spared Hurricane Melissa's blow. Tuber crops, yams, cassava, covering 4,670 hectares, have lost it estimated at $4.5 billion, impacting 6,120 farmers. Almost 70% of our yam crop for this year has been lost. Coffee has sustained a 40% damage to trees with a 40 to 45% loss of production at an estimated value of $800 million. In relation to livestock, our poultry sector was severely hit. We lost 458,000 layabirds, which is about 50%, a little bit more than 50% of our laying flock. We lost 780,000 broilers, amounting to about $2 billion in damage. To put into perspective, Madam Speaker, for Hurricane Beryl, in total, we lost about 300,000 birds. In this instance, we've lost over 1 million birds from Hurricane Melissa. We have reports of 3,560 small ruminants, 5,600 pigs, 2,850 cattle, combined losses of $3.1 billion. Our apiculture sector that sometimes is not spoken about a lot, but is critical to the agricultural ecosystem because of the roles of bees in our ecosystem, lost about 2,000 bee colonies, amounting to $74.5 million in damage. 38 greenhouses covering 56,000 square feet, about 337 kilometers of farm roads have been damaged, 217,800 square feet of farm buildings, and the ministry itself, Madam Speaker. Places like Mount Pelion, Hounslow suffered tremendous infrastructural damage. Our export center at the Montego Bay Airport suffered tremendous infrastructural damage. In total, our ministry and agencies suffered infrastructure damage amounting to $1.5 billion.
And it's important, that's Floyd Green there, the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. And it's important to note, this is one sector.
Yeah.
We still don't have the complete picture from health. We don't have the complete picture from education. We don't have the complete picture in terms of industry and commerce, how small businesses have been affected.
Physical infrastructure.
Absolutely. The cleanup effort. This is going to be a massive, massive bill. And you and I were just talking about, Cliff, what it will mean for the budgetary choices the government will have to make. The slashing, which will have to happen, the rethinking of priorities.
Yep.
The next budget is going to be a very, very difficult one to craft.
Yep.
Yeah. The
you
minister
can say goodbye to tax. No, what is it?
The incentives.
The tax incentives.
The threshold increase to $2 million.
Yes.
The reduction in GCT.
Right.
I don't know if I'm willing to say goodbye to those things, you know. And I suspect a lot of Jamaicans aren't willing to say goodbye.
So where are they going to get the money from to do this and to do that?
And this is where leadership will be tested. Favour Williams, Andrew Holness, Darlene Morrison, the finance minister, the cabinet, the financial secretary, I beg your pardon. They're going to have a difficult balancing act.
Yeah.
The agriculture minister says the total impact on fisheries is approximately $6 billion.
Our fishers heeded our cause. To be honest, when I moved around before Hurricane Melissa, a number of them very early, from the Thursday or the Friday, had brought in their vessels, brought in their boats to distances, Madam Speaker, that would reasonably have them secure. However, the storm surge that came with this Category 5 hurricane was like nothing our fishers have ever experienced. The National Fisheries Authority went out to 148 fishing beaches. Numerous of our most affected parishes have suffered infrastructural damage. In fact, in places like White House, Bluefields, complete devastation of the fishing infrastructure. Galleon, Calabash Bay, you don't see the gear sheds that used to host our engines, and the same for Parity. In fact, we estimate about $2.74 billion in infrastructure damage to our fisheries sector. Our aquaculture sector suffered about $36 million in losses, affected about 41% of our fish farmers. Probably where our fishers suffered the most impact is the fact that we have accounted for 3,289 vessels that have been damaged or destroyed by Hurricane Melissa, which is actually 45% of our national fleet of fishing vessels, with losses estimated at $2.9 billion. Total impact on our fisheries sector is $5.76 billion. Madam Speaker, the mining sector suffered significant damage, particularly in the western region. The damage there was really concentrated on some of our major quarries, including quarries like Hodges, Coast to Coast, Limecore. A number of them suffered damage to office infrastructure, access road, and in some cases, significant damage to plants. Our bauxite and alumina sector would have suffered varying degrees of damage, some minor, some mid. However, the good news is that they all have embarked on rehabilitation work, and Windalco, Jamalco, and Discovery are operating as we speak. Not really. The Mud Lake. Madam Speaker, the damage is extensive and heart-wrenching. Yet in this ruin, our farmers and fishers are hopeful and eager to start again. We will ensure that they can go again. We have reactivated the Agricultural Disaster Recovery Task Force, led by Mr. Michael Price, that was established after Hurricane Beryl to centrally coordinate assessments, relief, and recovery. We are ensuring transparency, optimal resource allocation, and timely delivery on the ground. Already, we have had outreach from the FAO, who provided us with an expert to help in relation to our assessments. We've had outreach from ECA, who have pledged an initial support of US $30,000, and the United Way, who today launched their Restoration and Rehabilitation Fund for Agriculture, of which the first donor was our 100-meter world champion, Oblique Seville, who gave $500,000 towards the rebuilding effort for agriculture.
Floyd Green, the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. In the meantime...
Just before we go to the next clip, Cliff, because something the Prime Minister said very soon after the passage of Hurricane Melissa is resonating with me now. The fact that this side of the island, Central, Eastern, will have to redouble our efforts at productivity, at producing.
Yeah.
That's going to be important, because as I listen to this, and as we just said before the clip, what will the price tag be, and how fast will the economy be able to rebound?
Yeah.
Western Jamaica, and as the minister said, in large part parishes that we rely on to carry important pillars of the economy like agriculture, they're going to be down for a while.
A long time. The Agriculture Minister told the Parliament this evening that the country's recovery efforts will need all the help it can get.
Madam Speaker, the recovery will take an all-hands-on-deck approach, and the recovery starts now. An immediate allocation of $450 million from the remaining production incentive program is being redirected to emergency recovery, including replanting, restocking, and land preparation. This is part of a larger $3 billion plan, the full details of which I will outline in subsequent updates. This week, we will start the distribution of $40 million worth of seeds through our RADA network across various production zones. Additionally, another $80 million has been allocated for emergency procurement. The figure is split between $50 million for seeds and $30 million for agro chemicals. This is part of our immediate response. Madam Speaker and members, in an attempt to remove the barriers to production and to rapidly expand the acres under production, the RADA tractor service will provide free land preparation for the next 6 months. Additionally, Madam Speaker, all seeds and planting material available through our Bodles and RADA nurseries will be free for the next 3 months. While the hardest hit western parishes are cleared and repaired, we will focus early planting in some of the least affected areas, especially eastern Jamaica and our agri-parks, to feed the nation now. The Agri-Invest Corporation will lead an initial wave: 200 acres of sweet pepper, 150 acres of cassava, 150 acres of sweet potato, and 200 acres of open field vegetables, 150 acres of hot pepper, and 150 acres of scallion. Madam Speaker, the SCJ will be providing an initial $5 million in land preparation support for farmers who occupy SCJ lands. We'll be making an initial allocation of $10 million to provide urgent support to our apiculture sector, largely through the provision of supplemental feed such as sugar. One of the challenges that our bees face, especially in our western parishes, is that almost all the flowering plants have been decimated by Hurricane Melissa.
This is grim, makes us very grim listening. Floyd Green, the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. Well, in terms of health, the Ministry of Dr. Christopher Tufton says an ongoing assessment of what's needed to restore the country's health services is now 40% complete. Health Minister Dr. Tufton says the assessment is being done in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization and UNICEF.
The Ministry's collaboration with our partners at the Pan American Health Organization and UNICEF, and supported by the National Health Fund, have begun our national assessment, and we have completed some 40% of that program. At the end of the assessment program, we'll be able to provide better estimates on the program of work that will require for the next phase, which is our rehabilitation phase. So that program is ongoing. However, we do have a sense of what we need to restore services, but more will be needed over the course of the other two phases to build back stronger, more resilient, and to ensure that the services are maintained and consistently so. Teams from the NHF, as well as support from Doctors Without Borders and PAHO, have begun to develop bills of quantities that will be used to activate the necessary procurement processes in accordance with the law. And I want to just commend the Pan American Health Organization. They have been part of a team that I have established to provide a benchmark, best practices approach to this very difficult and impactful storm. We have never experienced a Category 5 hurricane. They clearly have experience, and they have been a critical part of the advisory team, as well as a broader team that we have established to support the health build-back. The 5 hospitals in west and southern regions, of those 5, I'm pleased to announce that Cornwall Regional Hospital has been provided with JPS services. And, you know, I saw a coverage yesterday on the state of Cornwall Regional, which painted a very gloomy picture. It's not where it ought to be, but I must say that Cornwall Regional has come a long way since the hurricane. We have already started to restore roofing on the building. In at least, I think up to 50% of roof loss has been recovered with the work of contractors supported by Doctors Without Borders. We have water that is now more consistent. We have an NWC officer based at Cornwall, and even though it's challenging, and the reference to an unfortunate death and patients be treated beside that particular deceased is unfortunate, and we regret it, but it took place in the accident and emergency ward where these things occur from time to time, where patients are being treated and a deceased is there until the final rites are read and they are removed to the morgue. So while it is unfortunate and not something we want to do, It is something that happens from time to time, whether there's a hurricane or not, just for clarity. Mr. Speaker, water supply has been provided to Cornwall and Falmouth. However, there are still some challenges as outlined, and so we're working with NWC in terms of trucking and storage.
That's Dr. Christopher Tufton, the country's health minister. He says another field hospital will be established on Thursday on the grounds of the Savannah Lamar Hospital in Westmoreland.
There are 2 other field hospitals that are being established, and as we speak, the field hospital at the Falmouth Hospital is now commissioned and in service. A similar hospital, this one established by the Spanish government in conjunction with the government of Jamaica. And I want to commend the people of Spain for this. This is a major addition, and I just want to say that these field hospitals are not tents. They may be positioned as such, but they are full-fledged hospitals with operating theaters, pharmacy, blood bank, inpatient care, accident and emergency wards, and facilities for those who are serving the patients in those field hospitals. They have their own kitchen, desalination plant for water. It's a full self-contained facility which provides significant support to the people on the ground. And I really want to just say thanks to the team who have brought them in and established them. There's a third that is coming this week. We expect it on the island about Thursday. That one will be deployed at the Savlamar Hospital compound. Similarly, it will carry the features that these other 2 carry and will offer critical support to the people of Westmoreland and even beyond Westmoreland with a full team, which basically means that we are creating functionality to the people on the ground who need it while we build back the institutions that have been damaged. And I want to commend all those who have been involved in that process. Of the 3 field hospitals, we will have an extra 150 beds, Mr. Speaker, to support the people on the ground. Mr. Speaker, 9 primary care support facilities have been these are similar to field hospitals, but they are health centers. We call them Tier 1 health facilities, the field hospitals being Tier 2. 9 of these have been deployed across the parishes to improve primary care services, as Mr. Speaker. In other words, where health centers have been very badly damaged, we have either had to find a replacement location or we have deployed a temporary structure which would then substitute for providing primary care in the field. We did one in Black River, and I was with the member from Eastern Westmoreland, and we did another in White House. And we will do a few others across the country, Mr. Speaker, again to provide community care, because primary care is going to be a critical part of managing in the aftermath of the storm. We have, in collaboration with our partners, it is our target to ensure that all Type 5, 4, and 3 health centers are providing basic services, and we're setting ourselves a target of the 21st of November. So essentially what we have done is map the health centers in the parishes. The temporary rehabilitation may involve a tarpaulin just to keep the elements out and to restore the staff or at least some basic services in these areas. Where those services don't exist, however, we provide a mobile unit to go into those communities, and that includes doctors, but also a mobile pharmacy. And in that regard, I want to just recognize the National Health Fund, which is an agency of the ministry. We have already established a mobile pharmacy to serve communities where persons can't or are not coming out because they have no health centers to visit. We have already gone into communities like Cambridge, Petersfield, Oxford, Spice Grove, Newmarket, Maroontown, Little London, Darlaston, Ramblan, Grange Hill. Some 285 prescriptions have been filled to date across these communities using the mobile service. And we have also been dispensing medications like allergy medication, pain medication for pain, fever, cuts, bruises. So What we have tried to do, Mr. Speaker, in the immediate aftermath is to provide mobility of the health services to communities. Now, do we need to do more? We are ramping up to do more to ensure that more is provided.
That's Dr. Christopher Tufton, the Minister of Health and Wellness. He says his ministry has a plan to address food and water safety following the passage of Melissa.
With the support of UNICEF, Mr. Speaker, the ministry has developed a health, nutrition, water, sanitation, and hygiene plan called a WASH plan. The plan involves several components supporting the provision of primary and secondary care services for pregnant and lactating women and infants, including provision of medical supplies and immunization support, prevention of mosquito-borne illnesses, mental health and psychosocial support interventions, and risk communication and community engagement interventions. So there is a plan called WASH, the acronym, to address the concerns that I've outlined. Food safety is one of the 5 priority areas targeted by the ministry, which means an assessment of critical establishments such as large food manufacturing facilities, warehouses, cold storage, high-risk establishments such as abattoirs, butcheries, poultry farms, markets, supermarkets, restaurants, food and milk processing plants being targeted. Mr. Speaker, as of November 9, 2025, approximately 5,052 food handling establishments were assessed post the hurricane, with some 2,794 or 55% being satisfactory, with which 100 were cited for violation. 5,661 kilograms of food was condemned. It's a very difficult decision, Mr. Speaker, colleagues, to those who clearly would have invested in their food or their establishment and are being told by the public health inspectors that you need to discard. The absolute reality is that if storage is not proper, then it poses a risk to the population, and in the interest of health, we have to take action. So I crave the indulgence of those who may be impacted negatively, but it is a reality, and the risk could be far greater in terms of the negative side than to take the risk of consuming spoiled food. Additionally, large farms and food processing farms were visited, and we continue to monitor to ensure safe food to the population, because foodborne diseases can be a major factor in the immediate aftermath of this kind of storm. In terms of water safety, we are working with our local and international partners, including PAHO, UNICEF, Red Cross, and a consortium of disaster agencies have commenced a strategic water safety intervention to manage risk associated with the passage of the storm. The interventions include supplemental portable water supply to benefit NWC distribution networks, and we have established that in Lucy, in a number of areas actually, working with those teams. Water treatment systems being placed to support impacted hospitals, and we are installing some systems to provide support for the hospitals, but we also need to do more in terms of the health centers, not just for the health centers, but in conjunction with our colleagues and other partner agencies, the communities where residents reside and have unreliable access to water. Distribution of water tablets in communities and hygiene kits provided for communities across the country. In addition, water safety assessment of primary healthcare facilities that were damaged, of which 5 healthcare facilities assessed to date using the smart healthcare facility model. We are now replacing those water facilities. What we want to do, Mr. Speaker and colleagues, in every health center, we have 325. We want to ensure that there is electricity generating capacity. Most already have a generator, so we're doing inspections, water storage, adequate water storage, and a reliable source of water, which is critical to treatment and to care. And then, of course, that the staff and the basic equipment are in place. Even if we have to put a tarpaulin over the roof for the time being, the critical thing is that the service is available.
Well. It's bad out there. Very bad.
updates there from the House of Representatives. They'd say, gird your loins.
Well, if Melissa not gone with them. All right, we're going to press on. Nature's Remedies are back. Yes. Oh, it's not today. All right, let's go to the break.
The Pink Run, a corporate wellness challenge, encourages physical activity, healthy eating, and age-appropriate health checks. Remember, early detection saves lives. The time by the Ministry of Health and Wellness is...
It's 9 minutes after 7.
On Wednesday, November 12, 2025, Nationwide 90 FM will broadcast live from the National Parent Month Recovery Mission launch at Tivoli Gardens High School from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. under the theme Stronger Parenting Together. This year's Parent Month focuses on supporting parents in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. Nationwide 90 FM will be on the ground, sharing stories, information, and practical guidance to strengthen parenting and community resilience during this critical period. Stakeholders play a vital role in helping parents regain stability, access essential resources, and build coping skills. The coverage will highlight the collective efforts of communities and institutions working together to support effective parenting and recovery. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online on Wednesday, November 12 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Catch our live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, or catch us broadcasting live from the National Parent Month Recovery Mission launch at Tivoli Gardens High. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Hi, I'm Lori Gale from Oasis, advising of a change in our program focus, November 5 to 18. We do a shift from reading the Word to living out the Word. Host Roland Gale will speak with heads of churches regarding their intervention in getting our lives back on track following Hurricane Melissa. Be sure to join Roland and his guests on Oasis beginning Wednesday, November 5, 12:55 p.m., with a repeat at 5:45 a.m. only on Nationwide, the new revolution in media. Let's all be praying for our nation.
Twelve minutes after 7 o'clock, we're into the third and final hour now, where we're going to go to the United States of America, where a bipartisan bill...
You sure you don't want to call it United States of Chaos?
That would be appropriate.
I think so.
Yeah?
I think so.
But a bipartisan bill to end the U.S. government shutdown heads to the House of Representatives after the Senate passed the measure Monday night. The House could vote as soon as tomorrow, the 43rd day of the shutdown.
Now, this could put Congress on the brink of resolving a weeks-long fight that has disrupted flights and halted food stamps for millions of Americans in a 60-40 vote. The Senate signed off on a deal reached by 8 members of the Democratic Senate caucus and Republicans to reopen the government.
It also has the backing of President Trump. A continuing resolution now heads to the House, which is expected to take it up on Wednesday. The bill is expected to have enough votes in the Republican-controlled House for passage. We have more in this report from CBS News.
Washington, welcome to The Takeout. Time to dust off the House of Representatives. It's been closed for weeks. Hope they can find the light switches. Might need to run a vacuum or two. The House, you see, must blink its eyes open, emerge from its leadership-imposed hibernation, and spring back into legislative action. You know, its very purpose for being. It must, in due course, pass the Senate compromise that reopens the government until January 30th, rehires and pays federal workers fired during the shutdown, as well as all the others with jobs and going without pay, and guarantees nutrition assistance for low-income Americans through SNAP for a full year. President Trump supports the deal. That means it has every good chance of passing the Republican-controlled House. The timing for that? About 24 hours from now. This show might be able, we hope, to provide live coverage of debate and final passage. Wouldn't that be exciting? Maybe not for you, but certainly for me. Now, there are some Republican holdouts, and there are also some Democrats who might cross over and vote for this compromise. No matter the howling, and there's a fair amount of it from the activist progressive wing of the Democratic Party. On that part of the political spectrum, post-compromise air is rent with words like betrayal, cowardice, and caving. The Senate passed deal to reopen the government last night, and in the aftermath, most lawmakers had precious little to say. Those who did speak offered relief and context.
This would not have come about without the work of so many people. Our Democratic colleagues who courageously realized that we could not let this shutdown continue to go on, with the harmful consequences growing worse with each passing day.
I refuse to monetize the outrage. We need to find a way forward because I strongly support those tax credits to make healthcare more affordable, but I just refuse to shut our government down and hold our government hostage. And that's where we are.
For what comes next, we turn to Torian Small on Capitol Hill. Torian, always great to see you. So what comes next? There's some activity tonight, right?
Yeah, so right now the Rules Committee in the House are meeting to pretty much go over what tomorrow will look like. We'll likely see a final vote on that in the 5 p.m. hour tomorrow. But as for tonight, we're seeing some potential pushback between Democrats who are strongly opposed to the bill as it came from the Senate as they make the case to the Rules Committee. Considering they're in the minority, it's unlikely they would do much to swaying the votes of the majority there. But as it stands right now, we could be well on our way to the government reopening tomorrow sometime in the evening, Major.
So you spoke about House Democrats. Our colleague, Caitlin Huey-Burns, spoke with Jim McGovern, Democrat from Massachusetts, the ranking Democrat on the House Rules Committee, where Democrats are by design severely outnumbered, for his take on where things stand. Let's take a quick listen to that.
They have a 2-to-1 majority in the Rules Committee, so either I have to be really persuasive or I have to shame them into doing the right thing. But we're going to make the case why it is unacceptable and immoral for us to proceed without dealing with the fact that millions and millions of people are about to see their health care premiums double, triple, and quadruple. Many are going to lose their health insurance entirely.
Torian, a couple of things I also want to run by you. Tomorrow, something else is supposed to happen. Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva from Arizona, scheduled, as I understand it, finally to be sworn in. And have you detected so far any Republicans who are not fully on board this Senate compromise?
Yeah, so we've seen before pushback. There were just a couple of Republicans who voted against the House continuing resolution before it made its way to the Senate, that being Representative Thomas Massie. Grijalva is an interesting case. Once she's sworn in, it's likely we'll see that same Republican Massie look to force a vote or a petition to force essentially the release of the so-called Epstein files, considering that they would then have the simple majority in the Republicans who support this measure as well. But as it relates to this government shutdown, a lot of Democrats are pushing back, saying that we Democrats in the Senate essentially gave up any leverage that they had by conceding to this, saying that they agreed to a promise of a future vote of the extension of a health care tax subsidy, but it not being married to this could be a fatal flaw for them. And considering the fact House Speaker Mike Johnson himself said that he wouldn't commit to bringing it to the House floor for a vote, Democrats are saying they lost this fight for now, but they will go on to fight another day. That's at least according to the words of Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader.
Torian Small on Capitol Hill. It's a very important point you made there just at the end. House Speaker Mike Johnson said the debate over future health care changes will be deliberative. That's code for it's going to be a long, long time before we get to that. Torian Small on Capitol Hill, thanks so much.
That report there from CBS. It's so hard now to keep up with American politics. I'll never forget Steve Bannon, former advisor to the president. He talked about muzzle velocity. That the strategy of the second term was going to be to overwhelm people.
Yes.
So they just couldn't keep up. I think they're being successful in that. Every single day, it's something else.
But I don't know about how you measure success. Yes? Because what happened last week, Tuesday night, is a big, big warning.
Except.
Yes.
Majority blue states, one purple state. All states Kamala Harris won.
Mississippi is
hold
not
on.
Mississippi
One more. And Donald Trump wasn't on the ballot.
Oh, please.
No, I think that's
Don't buy
important.
into that.
No, I'm not buying into
Don't
it.
buy
It's
into
important. Here's
No.
why it's important. His base, a large part of it clearly, sleeps. But when he's on the ballot, they turn out. I think we've seen that now. And yes, he probably won't be on the ballot again unless, because they say they have a plan up their sleeve. It's to be seen. And I suspect what he's going to do is run for vice president. And then whoever wins the presidency will resign. And he'll assume the office again. I think that's the plan. That's the only path I see. But they're clearly intent on making him president for a third time. And I think that might be the path. But yeah, no, I'm cautious about those results. I am.
And you ought to be cautious, but it is a big red flag when the Democrats not only won blue states, but they won blue states by a landslide.
Sure.
New Jersey, for example.
Sure.
That Mr. Trump won. Lost narrowly to Kamala.
Yes.
Yeah? What happened last week, Tuesday? The Democrat won by 15 points. Yeah? What happened in Mississippi? Deep red.
Yeah.
The Democrats won.
He made some gains in some local races.
And also, Mr. Trump's approval ratings.
At a time, hold on.
I allowed you.
Okay.
Could you allow me?
All right,
please?
fine. Go ahead.
He's down to 37%, the lowest he has ever had, whether in Trump 1 or Trump 2, the lowest.
At a time when the federal government was shut down.
Yes.
There's a lot of important context.
But then, how are you going to argue that he wasn't on the ballot? At a time when the government is shut down,
yes,
who is to be blamed?
No, so voters are blaming the Republican Party, but I'm saying, hold on.
Who leads the Republican Party?
Hold on.
Who is in office?
Hold on.
No, you can't have it both ways.
I'm not trying to have it both ways. I'm saying to you, he has proven to be a very unique political creature.
That I will agree with.
Right. And I'm saying, I don't know that these results, a year out from the midterms, is suggesting the wave that a lot of you are salivating about.
I'm not predicting no wave.
What are you predicting? What are you reading into the results?
Let me repeat my words.
Yeah.
A big red warning flag.
Not convinced.
Well,
not convinced.
See.
Too far out.
No, it's not too far out. A year, and that's why it's a warning. It's a warning, a red flag. Yeah? Trust me when I tell you, it's not looking good. He is very unpopular across America.
He's been unpopular since 2016.
No.
He's been unpopular since 2016.
No. He was leading in the polls, though. Now he's behind in the polls. Wherever he goes, he's being booed.
He's always been booed, Cliff.
No.
And by the way, the places where he's being booed, the cultural meccas of the left.
Oh.
That's where he's being booed. But we'll see. All right. We're going to take your calls.
And the Trumpists jump on the YouTube channel.
You know I'm not a Trumpist, but I have to concede. He keeps defying every single measure that we've had to study and understand American politics. Even now, what the Democrats did in the Senate.
When the 8 of them caved last night.
Precisely. While they had the upper hand. Mm-hmm. As you rightly said, he was being blamed.
Yes.
They caved.
And they caved.
And watch him spin this,
they are going to get the backlash.
And watch him spin this.
Of course.
You just wait until the House passes the bill.
Yes.
Because if it's one thing he's good at, it's selling a message. No matter how dishonest it is.
And lying.
630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, 618-6730.
Jamaica's poverty rate has dropped from 16.7% to 8.2%. As the government's economic program begins to pay off, our country is heading towards sustained growth. We are building Jamaica. The time by the office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 24 minutes after 7.
Every school is free of unhealthy, ultra-processed products. You know, those high in salt, fats, and sugar. If only that weren't a dream. The reality is that many children have an unhealthy diet at school, and 23% of them are overweight or obese. This can lead to hypertension, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. Let's protect our children's right to health with a policy for schools that prevents unhealthy food marketing and ensures access to nutritious foods. The time is now. Let's implement the National School Nutrition Policy. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Attention Megamart Montego Bay team members. The Megamart family would like to know if you are safe and well. Please join us for an important meeting at Megamart Montego Bay on Friday, November 14, 2025 at 10 a.m. If you are a family member or friend of a Megamart Montego Bay team member, please help us in getting this message to them. Thank you and stay safe.
They've lost homes.
Everything is gone. Have no house, have nothing.
They've lost power.
No water, no food, no light, no bed. Jamaican people need this for respect.
Some haven't heard a familiar voice in days.
The last thing I said to my sister, please be safe. And that was the last time.
For others, hope is starting to ebb. But together, we are rebuilding Jamaica, one parish at a time.
We have to try. We have to try. Can't give up.
Join Nationwide 90 FM from November 21 to December 19, every Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. as we broadcast live from Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, Hanover, and St. Elizabeth, helping families and communities rebuild after Hurricane Melissa.
And you can help too.
Bring your donations, non-perishable food, water, hygiene products, lighting, or recovery supplies to our office at 14 Ocean Boulevard, the Digital Building, downtown Kingston.
Let's show the true strength of our nation: unity, compassion, and care. Together, we can rebuild lives and restore hope. Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Give us strength. Never let I fail.
We're back with you on Nationwide at 5. We're taking your calls. 27 minutes after 7. The numbers are 630-9371-4, 618-6730. What are they saying?
And on the YouTube chat, yes, the moment we started talking about Trump,
yes,
the Trumpists came on.
Yes.
Yeah? Yes. Yes. Yeah? They're commending you.
Oh,
yes.
For what?
For bigging up the great President
I don't know
Donald
that
Trump.
I was doing that. I was just reflecting reality. Who do we have?
Brick Road. Trump is the only president who could be a Jamaican. Him bad now, and I cannot repeat that on radio.
I think the Jamaican electorate would actually vote for him. I believe that. I do believe that. I think he'd win an election in Jamaica. Think about it. Cheryl, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Cliff.
Yes, Cheryl, good evening.
Good, Cherie.
Sorry about that. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Hughes and Mr. Brooks.
Good evening.
Now, yesterday I called and it was Sanjay who was there. Do you remember, Mr. Hughes? I spoke about House of Cards.
Yes.
All right. So Mr. Brooks come with the perfect example. So here's how he'll become the president for the third term.
Oh,
yes. When I hold him with it, I said, damn, that's House of Cards. He's going to call for BP.
Yeah.
President president resign and he'll go over.
Yes, I thought about it and I was trying to figure out how would they do it. They could technically do it that way, yes.
It can, and I tell you that he's the man who looked for the grey area.
Yes, and it is a grey area, yes. It's never been attempted, but it on the paper it looked like it could happen.
Look, my man, I thought them being a house of cards.
That's a movie. That's a series with Kevin Spacey. Is it Kevin Spacey?
Kevin, exactly.
Yes. Okay.
Exactly. So the man watched them seriously. He had to watch them for him to be that good at cunning.
Well, Cherie, I'm not going to say never because it's Trump, and Trump has demonstrated.
No, T-Rump, remember? T-Rump.
T-Rump, according to you. Yes. I say Trump. He has demonstrated an uncanny ability to bully his way through the American system. He tramples on every convention, every principle, including laws, and gets away with it so far. So far. Yeah? But I don't see him getting a third term, whether through the Ricardo route or the whatever route.
Is that what we're calling it, the Ricardo route? I like that.
But that's a viable route, you know. I wouldn't.
It's not viable. I think the man above will intervene before then.
That's the only man who can intervene, because the people in America, I never know that they were that stupid.
I don't want, but Cherie, I don't want to call them stupid. I've come to realize that we shouldn't think of voters as stupid for the choices they make. When you talk to people who voted for him, they somehow found a way to overlook the moral failings because they think he delivers on other things.
Like what?
Yeah.
There are people who think when he was first in office, the economy was good.
Has he delivered now?
Well, that can be argued.
The whole issue of food prices, affordability,
but there are
through the roof.
But there are other things that he has delivered on.
Like
He's
what?
delivered on a conservative Supreme Court that's rolled back abortion rights. Conservative Christians love that kind of a thing.
The cultural issues.
Absolutely. He's pushed back on transgenderism. There are people who appreciate that kind of a thing. So he's delivering for some people.
Yes. That's what's keeping him there.
Yeah.
But I hear
he's a wretched soul.
I got few things. People vote for even one thing.
Absolutely, yes.
Just to have two sexes
yes.
or two genders.
You have single issue voters where they just tunnel vision. Yes.
For just those.
Yes. Absolutely, Cherie.
Oh boy. Yeah. But that I had to call when I heard Mr. Brooks with that. I'm gonna say, yes, there you go.
I need to watch back House of Cards.
Yes, you should.
All right, Cherie, thanks for the call.
Okay, ma'am.
630-937-124, 618-6730. Voice of New York, good evening.
Hi, good afternoon.
How are you?
All right, good. Cliff, how are you doing, boss?
I'm good.
All right.
Watching you and your president make it out.
You know what? I didn't call for this, but I want to comment on it. I think why Trump become president. I didn't vote for Trump in the first term. I didn't vote for him in the second term. The main reason why Trump is president right now, America is in a very, the middle class America has been literally decimated. And that's why Trump become president. A lot of people are hurting so much. I remember when I came here early in the 1980s, in the 1980s here was a different place, with a cliff. Now it's a different place. A middle class in America now, they're feeling like crazy. They can't buy food. Just imagine, with a cliff. What's your host name? Your co-host, what's his name?
Ricardo,
how are you doing?
I'm all right.
Just imagine you're in a country where food was like, it's a second thought. And you can't bite. That's what middle class are going through in America right now.
But Mr. Trump, on that basis, Mr. Trump says he's going to come and immediately, we're going to reduce food prices. Immediately.
So guess...
And what has he done since being in office now, going a year?
Because that's a pipe dream that cannot be done overnight. Yeah, so, you know, you're going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And then...
He's a con man.
Very complicated. Very complicated. Very complicated. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. America is a great country. There are a lot of things going on that are great here. But the middle class has been decimated. All the manufacturing jobs are gone, basically. And I think when Trump speaks, he speaks to that base, and that's why he's in the White House. But unfortunately, it's not going to be overnight. What I think I call for those, what I think I call about is this. I hear they're talking about agriculture in Jamaica coming, you know. I know, we would love for Jamaica to come bounce back. But their people are hurting still. There are people that still can't find a loved one, especially in the western part of Jamaica. Let's just go through this moment first now and clean up the place. And get people
Voice of New York. Voice of New York. I don't understand you. Yes. It's not that we have to stop doing one to do the other. We are a country. We have to be able to juggle and ride several horses. In Jamaica, we say you have to be able to ride and whistle.
Yeah.
We are doing the relief efforts, yes, but we also have a country to rebuild, yes, and several sectors of the Jamaican economy have been decimated, agriculture being but one. And the Minister of Agriculture was updating the Parliament this afternoon. That doesn't stop the relief effort in getting food and water and short-term shelter to those who are now suffering.
Because remember now, Voice of New York, once we're beyond the relief phase, and there will come a time when we have to get beyond that phase, then comes the recovery. And in order to recover, we have to know what we've lost.
So okay, again, remember, we're an island nation. We're not, you know, a lot of times I think, in my opinion, Jamaican people think that they are on a continent. We are an island nation. And we have limited resources. We are basically, it's not like one part in the U.S. where one part can get it and one part can, you know. Jamaica right now, we just need to concentrate, in my opinion, on recovering and get the farmers, a lot of these farmers, especially in Western Jamaica.
But you can't recover without the farmers, boss.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the point, Voice of New York.
How are you going to recover without the farmers?
Hear me out. Listen, nothing wrong importing food. If you can import food, nothing wrong with that. I tell people all the while, you know, what we need to do in Jamaica when it comes to agriculture is not so much focus on what we are eating. Focus on what we can export. For example, avocado. Why are we not seeing...
But Voice of New York, he goes right back. No, but he goes right back to the point about recovery. Why are you going to export it if the sector is decimated?
So
it's non-recover
first.
No, man. So first you were talking about relief. You said that to help people get back on their feet. And the point Cliff was making to you is that, yes, we're doing that. But at the same time, the government has to also focus on rebuilding the sector. Not just individual.
Everything at the same time. We cannot do it.
Well, that's a job of a government, my brother. They have to. They have to.
No, I disagree.
No, you can take the one by one approach in running your house.
Yeah. Government don't have that luxury.
Let me ask a question. As a company or organization, sometimes you got to focus on what the urgent things are.
A company
different.
is not a country.
Apples and oranges, my brother. Put it this way. If Andrew Holness and the cabinet sat down and decided, okay, we're not gonna do anything on agriculture until education is perfect. And then after they get education perfect, they say we're not going to do anything on health until agriculture is perfect. Think about what would happen. Just think about what would happen in that situation.
So
you have to be able to do several things at the same time.
Let me go, Stanley, and then I go. Okay, so if your house is burning down, you cannot think about rebuilding.
The comparisons are not up, my brother. The comparisons are not. Yeah, the comparisons are not good, my brother. But thank you for the call. I appreciate it. 630-9371 to 4-618-6730. Petal, how are you, my dear?
Hey, good night. You hearing me?
I'm hearing you clearly. How are you?
I am holding on. Good night, Cliff.
Good night, Petal. How did Melissa treat you?
I am okay.
You sound tired.
I am, and I'm tired of the people up at UWI. Because, I know I don't. Oh, by the way, Ricardo, how drama.
She's hanging in there. We met twice at the hospital, Cliff. Petal and I, yes. And commiserated.
Oh, dear.
My brother passed it. Yeah, I
Your brother passed when?
Last Tuesday, the 4th of November.
Oh, dear. My condolences, Petal.
Yeah. But I know we can't get the paper for the register the dead man. Boy, I don't know.
Why? What do they tell you?
The doctor hasn't signed it as yet.
Oh.
They told me to come by the Tuesday. They told me to come Thursday. They told me, don't come, call. I called. They said it's not signed. I went up there Friday to pay a bill. When I went into the A&E, because that's where he passed, they said, the doctor said she's coming on Saturday, but I'm not to come for it because I can't go up to the section where you register the dead. They're not open on Saturday, so come Monday. I didn't go, I called, and the gentleman told me up till now the doctor didn't come and stand. I don't know. It is one thing. We love my country, but, them kind of system are not right, man. You can't get to deal with your people and the way it needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Not right. And I don't see why. What is the issue in signing our document so that persons can get to go deal with them their loved ones? Anyway, that's what now I'm really call about. What a beautiful grandma Ricardo have to make me say that. Boy, you man pretty. Cliff.
Yeah?
On the same, I went to country. Last week, Sunday, I had the privilege of going down with a company to hand out care packages. I went to Manchester. We met the gentleman at Gutter so that he could carry up whatever I'm carrying up to Alligator Pond. Then we moved on to another area in Junction. Nothing bad happened at Junction. So we just moved on to Santa Cruz. Drop off some stuff at Santa Cruz. That was a disaster. But going to Lacovia, we wanted to go to Westmoreland from that end. If we had to turn back, it was no less than 3 hours waiting. And the gentleman said, next weekend. But Saturday, I had the privilege of going to help some of my people. You know who my people are. And Cliff, let me tell you, down at Catherine Hall, down at Mobile there.
Yes.
In a section named West Green.
Yes, I heard about there. It's bad.
Cliff,
I hear the muck.
Cliff,
the houses.
Just the mud take over the houses, Cliff. And they still didn't have any electricity either. The good thing is that while we were there, we saw a water truck came twice to deliver water to the community.
Yes.
So the people no electricity.
And I know that over the last couple of days, the NSWMA has gone in there. And they have,
but while we were there too, we were there with the trucks and the tractors cleaning up.
Yes.
Taking the people, practically every house got flooded out. And not only that, the people's furniture was at the gate. When you look at couch and bed and man, it was so sad. I couldn't let them see that I was crying, but I was, because we went to help some of our people, and we did. A long time in our work, so I'm not lying. It was terrible. Yeah. And then Sunday, I had the privilege of going with another set of people to go deliver care packages. Westmoreland, mash up Cliff.
Yeah.
We went to White House, then move up. I not even know where to stay, because everywhere you're looking, no house stop. And I talk about big house, little house, it never matter. House stop, gone, Cliff.
Yeah.
Cliff, we have to help these people continually. It's not the government alone. We have to do our part in trying to, because it's not going to take no 2 years in a cliff. Long beyond that,
I think that we're looking at 5-7 years.
I am telling you, and it's not in between that. It is so sad.
Yeah.
But Cliff, as me I go say to you, me believing in the Bible wholeheartedly. Last is this, them stuff me I go on. But it shows us that if the material things flip, we can't hold on for them, because them are nothing.
Exactly. Take care of yourself, Petal. And I hope you get your brother's death certificate.
No,
soon.
if I don't get it, I'm coming back just to ask you again to talk about it, because it's not fair.
All right. Take care.
Bye, Ricardo. Take care of that beautiful grandma.
All right, Petal. Damien, good evening.
Hi, evening, Cliff. Evening, Ricardo.
Good evening.
Yes, my heart goes out to all the people affected by the hurricane, and really applaud the efforts of all who are showing support, the local organizations, the international development partners, the state and its apparatus. But as a social scientist, one of the things that I analyze is the way that these disasters sometimes give way to mismanagement in disaster relief. We have examples in Latin America, for example, and the Caribbean with the earthquake in 2010, where billions of dollars in international aid were pledged, and much of it was mismanaged. Guatemala, the case of the volcano de Fuego in 2018, and you remember Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico?
Mm-hmm.
Those are just some examples that come to mind, and I've been hearing the calls for oversight, and I was listening in Parliament not too long ago, and I left very disappointed, because at the closing of Parliament, the leader of government business, Mr. Floyd Green, read a letter from the leader of opposition business, Mr. Philip Powell, indicating that the opposition is not in support of the establishment of a joint select committee to provide independent oversight over the relief efforts. And I found that to be not just disappointed, but contrary to the expressed views of the opposition, that they really are pushing for transparency and accountability in the way in which the relief efforts are carried out.
I don't have my phone, so I don't know if Siobhan has been updating me. But Damon, did the letter say why the opposition has not said it won't support the Joint Select Committee?
But what I gathered was from the letter that Mr. Powell indicated that the opposition is of the view that the PAAC is sufficiently positioned to provide oversight to the spending as a committee that looks at the fiscal management of the government.
That's chaired by Julian Robinson.
Yes, that represents the mechanism, the best mechanism. Now, I depart from the letter based on my understanding, because I believe that the opposition and the government aren't the sole voices and eyes that are going to be necessary for a disaster of this magnitude and coordination and oversight.
Yes.
And the PAAC, as we have seen in the past, has been used as a kind of political stage. What we need now is not a political platform. What we need now is a platform for coordination, collaboration, effective oversight, bringing in stakeholders even outside of our jurisdiction. Because if you have a joint select committee, you could have independent experts who lend their support to that committee based on where what the work that they have done. So I was particularly disappointed, and I find that it is.
I wonder.
Remind me, Ricardo, the idea of a joint select committee was mooted by who 2 weeks ago?
The Prime Minister said that he, if I recall correctly, in talks with the opposition leader,
yes,
they had agreed on it. That's my best recollection. Or that he said he was inviting them to be a part of it. Don't quote me on that. But the Prime Minister was the one who mentioned it. But Damon is raising a valid point here, because the PAC or PAAC, chaired by the opposition, I suspect the only reason I would see why the opposition would want to go that route is because it would center them in this oversight mechanism. Because obviously holding the chair, they'd control a lot.
Agenda setting.
But Damien makes another valid point, that these committees, for better or ill, have become political stages. That opposition, going back to Audley Shaw, you remember he used to use this committee to devastating effect. They've used it in that kind of way. And I would agree with you, Damien, that it probably, while it is a proper accountability mechanism for the parliament, I would worry about that as well.
Yes, not in
because
relation to
yes, it could become a
disaster
grandstanding effort.
Not in relation to that. And what you don't want, because one of the things that the PAAT does, it looks at spending or the appropriation of public funds
after the fact. Yes. And sometimes long after the fact.
Exactly. A joint select committee will be in a position to assess how aid is appropriated prior to.
Yeah.
And as I said, a committee of that nature gives way to civil society and other stakeholders as part of the process of recovery and relief. I hope that you will get the leader of the opposition or a representative from the opposition to clarify their position. It would be unfortunate if your conclusion is correct that their intent is to use the committee as centering them, seeing that they pair it in the discourse in a way that will be politicized. We don't need that right now.
Yeah, I can see how that becomes a real concern. I can see how that becomes a problem.
All right, thank you for bringing that to our attention. I'm sure we'll have more from our parliamentary reporter on that in the morning news. Thank you, sir. Good. It's 10 minutes going up to 8 o'clock. Good evening, Charlie.
Good evening, Mr. Hughes. How are you doing, Mr. Brooks?
Good evening. I'm doing all right.
All right, cool and thanks. Consider the things that brought forward to the country. Aid and financial aid. And that gives people the right to make statements about backyard.
Go again.
And while making statements, you're still increasing deportation amongst Jamaicans, saying Jamaica is your backyard.
Oh, you mean the United States?
I'm not talking United States, but the people in the houses. I continue to make these statements about Jamaican being their backyard.
In the houses? In which houses?
In the house in the Senate.
In the U.S. Senate?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Marco Rubio for one.
Yeah, right. So I was wondering why you're trying to avoid saying the U.S. I know you're talking about the United States. Yeah. I mean, that's the Caribbean. They've long treated the Caribbean as a sort of outpost, or as you say, their backyard. Yeah, people find it objectionable. It's a part of, is it the Monroe Doctrine?
Of 1823.
Yes, the Monroe, right. The U.S. has a particular foreign policy doctrine that they think they exert control over this side of the world, this hemisphere.
Yeah.
And of course, the Caribbean and Latin America, they treat it, yes, as their backyard.
Who was the president who referred to we here in the Caribbean as a third border? I think it was Bush. Yeah, the third border. Yes.
Yeah.
So you're taking offense to what, sir? What is
I'm
it?
taking offense to the terms of being a person in a person's backyard regarding the same statement as Grenada.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember that statement on Grenada?
Yeah, yes. Which the Monroe Doctrine was a part of why the Reagan administration intervened.
Yes.
And why they continue to take this hostile policy towards Cuba.
Right, and using Jamaica as a bypass to trust. I'm feeling very terrified and afraid and frightened of seeing these things.
You see what Trump did today? The largest U.S. naval vessel.
It's in the Caribbean.
Now in the Caribbean waters. Yes? You know? Talking about Grenada and Reagan, you know, when Reagan was about to invade Grenada in October 1983, he described it as a fine piece of real estate. You know?
When it was the address to the American people. Yes. But I will say this to you, my brother. I take some comfort, but I understand your objection to Jamaica being referred to as the US's backyard, but I take some comfort in the fact that the current execution of our foreign policy has been pragmatic. It has so far secured our interests. Jamaica seems to be on a path of what the US would say, a friend to many, and how do you phrase it?
A friend, a friend to all, and I can't recall.
Right, but Jamaica seems to be on a path where our foreign policy, it's paying off dividends. Yeah, it's paying dividends for us. But your concern about the military build-up in this region is valid, very valid. The only possible explanation I see is that at any moment now, the U.S. Commander-in-Chief will give his naval forces and his ground and air forces the all clear to invade Venezuela. That could be the only thing he's building up to, because I don't know why he would send his largest warship here to take out drug boats. He doesn't need to do that. He can do that by drones.
The term we're trying to remember: a friend to many, an enemy to none.
There you go. That seems to be how we've exercised our foreign policy. But you're quite right to be concerned about the military buildup. I suspect where he's moving towards is to topple the Maduro regime.
One more thing, quite second.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm saying, because you said that just a while ago, that the foreign policy, right?
Yes.
Is that with the line of Jamaica not being a part of the British monarch anymore, and that we are going to have a referendum?
Ask me that again. You say if that is in line with it?
Yeah, the foreign policies.
No. That's not implicated.
It is simple enough, sir. It is simple. We don't need to make it very complex.
Yeah.
America is being run by this man, Donald Trump, who we have never seen the likes of him before. Yes? 2, many countries in the world now recognize that you don't want to be in a dogfight with this vindictive, vengeful man who is prepared to use American military and economic might to bully you. So 3, you be pragmatic. You string him along, you tell him how good he is, how brilliant he is, yeah? And you wait him out. He has only 3 more years to go.
He's not the only one, Mr. Hughes. Remember in the meeting there was also Andrew Holness and Ibrahim Traore and quite a few other more.
Where? Which meeting?
They had a meeting before earlier.
Let me tell you something. This thing with Andrew Holness and Traore,
what is that?
Is fake news.
And Donald Trump in the meeting.
Is fake news.
I'm
something.
hearing all this for the first time.
There's this thing going on.
I was listening live on.
Wait, hold on. Now bring me up to speed. Hold on, bring me up to speed. What is this?
There's been going on social media a whole series of fake news, AI generated interactions between the Burkina Faso leader, Ibrahim Traore.
Oh, yes. No, my friend, that's not true.
That's not true.
Not so at all, my friend.
So why the conversation keeps going on back and forth?
Because AI has advanced. Do you know there is a AI generated video that same leader and the Pope was endorsing him and not never got so? And when I saw it, I thought it was real. It's not true, my brother.
They can. I know real video and some fake one.
Trust me, my brother. The AI has gotten to a point where you have to believe your lying eyes or disbelieve your lying eyes.
Double flick. You have double flick camera. We can show like a person in the same suit but at a different location.
Brethren, take it from me.
It's not true, my brother.
A fake, a AI, artificial intelligence. Yeah? Anything you see with Traore and Andrew Holness on social media are fake news, AI generated. No believe it, my brethren. A lie.
The last thing, can
You still not gonna believe it, don't it?
No, I'm saying you have double flick video.
All right. What the last thing? Quickly, last thing.
No, sir. Me not entertain him no more. Cause you no one accept say AI. Goodbye. Walla in your own ignorance.
I tell you, I keep saying it.
Damn
and if I ever
foolishness.
become an academic, I'm going to have to study misinformation and disinformation. It is a dangerous,
It is extremely dangerous now.
potent threat to democratic stability.
All over the world.
All over the world. It is dangerous. Remember that sent me something, how Andrew Holness get 400 generator and what?
It's sometimes a year 400, sometimes a year 40,000 generators.
He have them up in my yard. Oh, God. It's 8 o'clock.
That's where we're going to leave it. Thanks to our callers, except that last caller who has been totally taken over.
No. But you see, because we have to remember, it's convincing. So our job...
Them too damn fool, man.
Our job, Cliff Hughes, is to try to tell the people the truth. It's to tell the people the truth.
Well, that's what we try and do.
Yes.
But when do you go and think critically? Think and ask and research. Yeah? Instead of just believing the rubbish.
We haven't been trained very well in that skill,
Please.
As a people, we haven't. It's true. And that is why there's such fertile ground. That's why those bloggers and vloggers that I heard you talking to one lady about the other day, that's why they have such large audiences.
And they're paid. Paid.
Monetize. Storms of misinformation.
Good evening.
They've lost homes,